Oh no, Knowing Way's ear is slightly cut into the chat windows. I didn't mean for that to happen. Also, I think my microphone was up really loud. Maybe? I don't know. Hello. Welcome. I forgot to review my ivalice notes in advance as well. So hold on. Just kidding, I was actually doing something else I forgot in advance. The ivalice notes will remain incomprehensible to me. So, hello. That song was from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2, or A2. So that means that I gave up on the bit of not playing a Tactics song. But I also think it's funny that that song is called Painful Battle for some reason. But it's so cheerful. So yes, hello. Well. Ta-da! Surprise! I have transformed into my new form. Hello. I showed some people this beforehand, but also it is a surprise to anyone who is not in my Discord friend list, I guess, because I didn't tweet it. I withheld tweeting this in advance, but hello. We've got Happy Face. We've got Fear. We've got Sad Face. We've got the classic. Oh, the dab was cut off a little bit. We've got Rainbow. And also we've got
the primal form. You get all of this for free today. At least once. Something like that, yes. This primal form inspired somewhat by Sherbert, in that it's more wizardly, and also you can still see my face. I probably could put together a primal dab, like just have a separate frame, specifically for, use whenever this is already in use, that just goes back to this one. Does that mean I have to queue up another Digital River Extreme after the one that's present? I don't know. Sucro is distracted because she sees a bug on the ground or something like that. But yes, hello.
welcome. Well, I guess since one was redeemed...
I just have to immediately do this again, and that's fine. Works for me. I might have to mess around with it to make the dab not getting cut off by the screen. Or maybe that's part of the joke, because the dab is intentionally slightly shitty looking. But anyway, last time on Final Fantasy XIV, a little while ago, we did the first and second raids in the 3-raid Return to Ivalice series. And it took a while, because they really needed to just return to the editor more than anything. But Tish. And this time we're going to do the last part of the Return to the Ivalice series. And if there's time left over afterwards, then maybe something else will also happen. Well, I forgot to also, try my funny intro catchphrase. Because you gotta have a funny intro catchphrase as a VTubes,
or something. So I was gonna be like, it's me, Robin, the ghost in the machine, or the ghost in your machine, or the ghost in the virtual machine, or I don't know, workshop it. But thinking about it, I am a ghost. Boo. But yeah. What was I doing? I'm going to go to this and set that to busy so that I don't get random whispers and invites. And then I guess we'll just go. How's the volume and everything, by the way? I think the mic is up louder than usual, but also that's the way I tested the volume in advance, so I think it should be okay. Also, it's a little difficult to know how good the volume is without me doing various actions, but you know, still. Anyway, the path of most resistance. The worried look on Lena Muraila's face suggests she bears grave tidings, or not.
Hello, hola, ciao and bonjour.
Hello. Oh, right, that's the, Iono. That's her. Part of her deal. Right. Caught in her electro web and whatnot. I don't remember the rest of it. Greetings and salutations, Sucro. I suppose you're wondering whether or not the good Gimonis has finally determined where in the world our next adventure is to take us. Oh. No, it's just that's her name. She doesn't know. The good news is he has. The bad news, however... Now, while it's not in my nature to be sensationalist, sensationalism is in my job description. So please bear with me when I tell you not all is right aboard the airship Lexingale. Something about Alma has me deeply worried. I would not trust this information in the hands of my publisher, let alone some sullen gate guard. Shall we continue our conversation on the Prima Vista away from inquisitive ears? I mean, sure, but also you were just saying within earshot of the gate guard, I sure wouldn't trust that grumpus asshole gate guard with this information that I have. Bye. So, like, I don't know. Principal Genomis claims to have learned much from his continued study of the Durai papers. Still, he appears to be frustrated at a lack of information crucial to solving the mystery. Eyes cotton. Is that how it goes? Shall I prepare the shuttle for you? Indeed. Who's ready to get tactical? I'm not. I want to say in advance that one of the notes that I have from the notes on the next dungeon, the first boss, like the wiki I was looking at, had the following instruction for the first boss fight. Position character such that Position character such that circle marker hole faces the boss when the cast finishes. And that sentence is basically meaningless to me. Like, I don't understand what they're trying to tell me there. I'm sure I might figure it out through context, but it sure seems like a lot of nonsense. That's the only note that I took for the first boss fight. Position character such that the circle marker hole faces the boss. How does a circle face anything? I guess we'll find out. Maybe it points somewhere. Maybe there's an arrow. It's a 75% circle? That's also... Well, given that you've seen this raid before, I'm going to take your word for that. Then the second boss has, like, duty actions I need to do, and alliances get separated. The third boss is the character that once you get them in Final Fantasy Tactics, you win the game automatically. I think this dungeon has some of the more complicated boss fights, or this raid of the whole thing. I think I've heard this is scary. We'll find out if it's scary or not. The question is then, where exactly did Ramza and his fellowship journey next? Well, I know that this Ramza should journey into the garbage can, but I don't know if that's what they're asking. Ah, Sucro, to what do we owe this unexpected visit? I'd not planned on summoning you for another several turns of the sun. Explaining. Gasp. I apologize if we've caused you any worry. I suppose one cannot allow a reporter in their midst and not expect her to report what she sees, though I did expect a tad more discretion from Miss Muraila. Alma has, as of late, been experiencing difficulties with her health. Chirurgeons have been called upon to discern what exactly it is that ails her, but as far as they can tell, there's nothing physically wrong with my sister. The consensus is the rigors of an extended stay in a foreign land have taken their toll on her fragile heart. Sucro, when did you... Alma, no. You need to rest. Alma! I'm fine, brother. It's obvious you are not. You must return to your chambers and rest. Forgive me. Perhaps we shall speak again once I regain my strength. Until then, please look after my father. Sad face. Well, it's obvious something is amiss. It is true that you can't spray paint a Moogle in this game. But you can fight a bunch of Moogles. You can make Moogles... You can give Moogles drugs. Is that worth anything? Now then, where were we? Ah, yes, the matter of our next expedition. Nod. As we discovered during our most recent foray into the Ester Sands, the Dalmascan capital of Rabanastre appears to lie upon the ruins of what can only be the royal city of Lysalia.
I don't know what you two are talking about, but it concerns me.
Callie, you're not going to be spray painted. You're not a Moogle. Don't worry about it. Though, I mean, you are a robot. You could probably withstand spray paint. But that would be your decision. If you want to spray paint yourself. The royal city of Lysalia, ancient capital of the lost kingdom of ivalice. Shortly after, we stumbled across remnants of the legendary clockwork city of Gaog, cleverly repurposed into a lighthouse. What if? Oh, well. That's a little bit like if you were pink. It's only a little bit, though. Of the legendary clockwork city of Gaog, cleverly repurposed into a lighthouse overlooking the Ridorana Cataract. Remnants which now sit suspended above the fathomless chasm. Lysalia, Gaog, what have they in common, you ask? I shall tell you. They both appear in my ancestors' account of the rise of ivalice, the Durai papers. Well, you have a pink name in the chat, if that's what you're wondering about. Oh, also, Callie's cool crown is covered up by chat messages sometimes, but that's okay, I think. And with each new discovery, this forbidden chronicle is now proving Evalician legend to be more fact than fairy tale. There is no denying the proof, and it is but a matter of time before scholars and historians from across the realm come to the same conclusions. But as you all are aware, my aim has never been to simply prove the existence of ivalice. No, I shall not rest until I have revealed the truth of young Ramza's role in King Delita's ascension, and cleared my ancestor Oran Durai of the false accusations made against him by the Church. Should we not see to Alma first? If there's something we can do. Kugane's Kairugians would have us believe she is in no immediate danger, as her illness is not one of the body but of the mind. To borrow their words, her spirit is in a state of unbalance and merely requires time to right itself. That doesn't seem like the most helpful. I think they should get better mental health care. Alma will be fine as long as she remains in bed. The last thing she needs is any further excitement, especially at the paws of these meddlesome mole bats. Ramza, please. Though I must admit, both Mont Blanc and his brother have proven more useful than would have ever dared to imagine. When it comes to usefulness, I'm first in the field, or was it furriest in the field? Would you like to feel my fur, Kupo? And you wonder why Ramza despises you so, brother. They do all the work, and all you do is jest, Kupo. Ah, but you're mistaken, Herdy. I bear neither you nor your brother any ill will. Any further ill will, that is. If anything, I owe you my thanks for your recent contributions. His thanks? Are you hearing what I'm hearing? What happened to the venom-spitting adder we all used to know and hate? Alma certainly seems pleased with the change, but forgive me for not buying into this all-too-convenient transformation. Skepticism. Simply showing the world that ivalice actually existed will not validate the claims chronicled in the Durai papers, says Genomes, ignoring everything else that's being said and just waiting for his time to continue his speech, mostly. That is correct, Father. The key lies with Ramza Beulv. If we can find evidence of his hidden role in history, it will prove Oran's testimony true and safeguard our family name from ridicule and full life consequences. Which is why I turned the focus of my research to Delita's forgotten companion and his actions during the War of the Lions. It was only then that I discovered something most intriguing, an underlying struggle with an unknown force, a force with the power to bring about calamitous ruin. Horrorsight, the twisted abominations we encountered in both Lusalia and Gaug, the Lucavi, they are born of these unholy crystals. While nobles of the north and south squabbled over Ivalice's crown, Ramza silently sought to rid the world of a darker evil manifest from the deepest desires of men and women whose minds had fallen prey to the Horrorsight. And with each confrontation did Ramza's fellowship grow smaller. Countless companions lost to a cause that would go unwritten, yet was far more important than any clash of armies. And so did they endure until reaching their final destination, the Orban Monastery. I don't think I actually played the ending of Final Fantasy Tactics, but if I didn't realize the Orban Monastery was at the end of the game, because it was also at the very beginning of the game. Oh, I know this one. The Orban Monastery is where Princess Ovelia was raised. There's a scene about it in the Zodiac Brave story. After Delita emerged victorious in his final campaign, he married the princess to legitimize his claim to the throne of Ivalice. Ah, I see someone has been paying attention. But I don't understand. Why would Ramza's crusade against the Lucavi take him back there? According to the Darai papers, the sinister being who engendered the Aurosite was said to have slumbered beneath the monastery. Oh, I didn't know that. But who or what would have the means to create something so powerful? Ultima, the High Seraph. Not to be confused with Ultima the spell. Or Ultima the weapon. Or Ultima weapon. Or the Ultima weapon that is a weapon. Or the Ultima weapon that's not a weapon. Etc. A seraph? What's a seraph? Seraphs are believed by some to be servants of the gods. Divine beings whose only purpose is to carry out the will of their immortal masters. As to whether or not Ultima can claim this title, however, I cannot say. Just as there were those who chose to worship Ultima and her otherworldly might. That's also true. And her otherworldly might, there were equally as many who feared the Visitor and her deadly magics, oft referring to her as the Angel of Blood for the carnage left in her wake. Sounds like something I need to kill with a sword, said Sucro probably. Interesting. What if the spell Sucro claims to have experienced in the Praetorium, oh, they're actually bringing this up, coincidentally also called Ultima, was in fact an elegant interpretation of the very magics introduced to Hydaelyn by the High Seraph. Final Fantasy Tactics writers swooping in to be like,
actually, I made Ultima, it's mine, I made it, it's mine, I made the lore, it's my lore. This is because of what I made.
Or more or less that. But that would mean... what would that mean? I have spoken with several colleagues back in Charlian regarding their opinions on the ancient incantation, and while they yet have little to show for their research, they all agree on one thing. The manner in which Ultima ethereally manifests should not be possible. At least on Hydaelyn. So it would naturally make sense if we discover that the Allagans learned the spell from a being not of this dimensional plane. As to exactly how they convinced the being to impart that knowledge into them. Not of this plane? What manner of creature are we talking about here? Hey, I would think that the ethereal manifestation of something would not depend on the plane the creature is from, but would depend on the ether in the plane the creature is present in? 'Cause, like, if it's not possible on Hydaelyn, it doesn't matter if Ultima is not from Hydaelyn, right? I don't follow this entirely. Likely one similar to Omega. As in, it's from a different Final Fantasy video game. How long have you been listening from the shadows, my friend? Long enough. I'm here to deliver the item Mikoto requested. Cid, there was no need for you to deliver it personally. A Moogle would have sufficed. A Moogle? And trust that he won't tear open the package and show it to some random adventurer? No, this was far too important. If you two do not mind, the principal was about to tell us how to find the Orban Monastery. Would that I could. You don't know? Then what have we been doing here? At ease, Lady Muraila. The Darai papers speak of a cataract situated on the river Zerakel, several leagues south of Rabanastre. There supposedly lies the monastery. Zerakel is not a name you will find on any modern Dalmascan map. Rivers, however, especially ones as large as the Zerakel, or maybe Zerachel, or Zerachel, is established to be, are rare in a nation more than half claimed by the sand. The river we seek can only be that which bisects Golmor on the Nangshan border. And for that invaluable information we owe thanks to our brothers Moogle. Their travels have made them veritable authorities on Dalmascan geography. Wait, but earlier you claimed you didn't know the monastery's whereabouts. I'm confused. Its location is not what concerns me, but perhaps the Moogles themselves should explain. Why certainly, the verdant valley of vines and vipers to where we must voyage next is home to the Viera, and therein lies our little problem. The one thing the Viera do not suffer is trespassers, not even lovable Moogles, Kupo. This is the instance in the video game where they first introduced Viera. Viera were added as a playable race to Shadowbringers, and this is post Stormblood. So this is like, surprise, Viera are here. Our glamours kept us hidden long enough to see the jungle was teeming with ruins much like those we've discovered in Lazalia and Gaug, but the Viera trackers eventually found us and took us before their elders. We barely escaped with our palms, Kupo. So that's why we're still here talking instead of bound for the border. No, it's because they didn't get an editor. There are Viera who have spurned the strict code of their tribes, abandoning their people to come and live in the cities of Dalmasca. Finding and recruiting one to our cause might provide us with insight into how to reach the Orban Monastery ruins. Unfortunately, the nation's current turmoil has not made it easy to accomplish this task. We still require more time. Nod. Before boarding the shuttle here, I was stopped by a Banga on the docks. He asked me if I knew a Sucro Funk and bid I deliver her a message. I told him he was welcome to accompany me to the Prima Vista so that he might deliver the message himself, but the man refused. Nod. Mikoto, I saw this device crafted to your exact specifications, but cannot guarantee it will function as intended, seeing as I had nary a subject to test it on. Of course, Master Sid. If any trouble is met, then most likely it is my design that is to blame. Your confidence in my craftsmanship is flattering, but you sell yourself too short, my dear. Here's to your success. Good day. Okay, but what's the message? Hey, wait! Wait, you didn't tell me the message, Sid. Sid,
you didn't tell me the message.
Hello? Something is obviously very wrong with poor Alma, and why her father doesn't seem to pay her condition much mind is something we should all be wary of. You won't believe this, but since our time together in the Clockwork City, Ramza and I have grown inseparable. Why, I'd consider him a closer companion now than even my good brother, Herdy. Just don't let Herdy know that, Kupo. Both Mont Blanc and his brother Herdy have proved invaluable to our expedition. I owe them my thanks. And I suppose an apology. I admit when they first arrived, I was wary of their ability to contribute to the cause. However, over the past moons, they've done their damnedest to prove me wrong. I used to believe that we Garleans were inherently better than, well, everyone else. I suppose a part of me still does. It was what I was raised to believe. It is what all Garlean children are. Only now I've begun to realize the fool I was. Our exile here has forced me to face the arrogance that has controlled me my whole life. And what I found was that I was simply frightened. Frightened of change, frightened of admitting I was weak. And so I lashed out, and I'm sorry that you, Mont Blanc, Boagi, and the others had to suffer. I have no issue with Ramza's unexpected change of heart, just with how it actually came about. I fear it might be the Auracite playing with his heart, Kupo. I sensed a surge of ether the precise moment he came into contact with the necklace, though that surge has since passed, Kupo. There is no question that ivalice once stood atop the lands we now call Dalmasca, but with the passage of time have remnants of those eras past faded beyond recognition. If only the great library at Rabanastre still stood. My knowledge is limited, but here's a bunch of things you can look at. I'm going to make the executive decision to not read all of the lore this time, and also not talk to any of the unimportant random NPCs because basically everything they had to say was garbage before. Maybe this guy. The body is but a vessel for the soul, a puppet which bends to the soul's something, and lo, the body is not eternal, for Ah, you must forgive me, Sucro. I was lost in my work. Several of my patrons are expecting returns on their considerable investments, you see. This guy we get to talk to because this is the avatar of the writer of this, basically. And we might look at this node over here, if there's anything new here. Oh, there's... oh god. They made a whole new node because there's so much stuff. And there's a whole nother person contributing to the lore dump. Okay, fine. I guess I'll read this. I'm not gonna, like... I don't know, I'll look through it. Evolution legend tells of Gaug, a city forged from iron and brass and teeming with fantastical creations, from steam-powered airships to machino-servitors. The machino-servitors? The people who populated this Modran metropolis were not unlike us Garleans, in that it was their lack of magical aptitude which spurred them to embrace technology. While the Durai papers mention little of Gaug's location, there are passages as to its queer construction. There being no land to claim, her architects instead claimed the sky. This particular verse, along with some few others, suggests that the city was built up rather than out, into something resembling a massive tower. Further mention of Gaug comes in the description of an explosion of unknown origin that, if the papers are to be believed, brought down more than half of the city and resulted in its eventual abandonment. However, examination of heretofore untranslated portions of the document reveal details of a battle waged in the upper halls of the Clockwork City betwixt an automaton known as Construct 6 and our very own Ramza Beulv. It was during this conflict that errant discharge from the former's weapons rent the city asunder. It is my belief that this event permanently disrupted the local etheric flow, ultimately creating the extraplanal fissure into which the Ridorana cataract now pours. The presence of such a fissure would have made rebuilding impossible, forcing the people of Gaug to renounce their ancestral home and depart in search of another. I would like to think that they traveled north and west to Ilsabard, settling in the land that would one day become Garlemald. Yet, while traits such as the affinity for machina and lack of magical prowess align, I must admit my theory is still mostly conjecture. I'm actually less inclined to continue reading all this, seeing how much was in a single... Does anyone have any strong opinions on whether or not I should read any of this? I'm gonna say probably not, because I'm probably going to get the opinion, do what you feel like, which is a valid opinion to have. Let's just talk to Mikoto. Also, I never got that message from Sid. Sid, please. I sense that you're interested in the package Sid delivered. I have every intention to apprise you of its contents, but first I believe we should speak of Alma's condition. Actually, first I believe I should be right back. Sorry about that. I may have to step away semi-frequently. We'll see. Probably at least once more before the dungeon to make sure I'm completely prepared for everything. Completely feeling okay, etc. Take a little stretch break or whatever, you know, that sort of thing. Anyway, Alma's condition. Questioning head tilt. Do you not find her illness all too timely? Genomius and Ramza would like to believe that her bouts of vertigo are not but a result of a mind fatigued, but the answer is clear. It is the auracite that plagues her. Gasp. Alma recently confided in me that she would hear her father speaking with the Otius well before even his first foray into Rabanastre. However, I do not think this entirely true. Which is not to imply that Alma is trying to deceive us. Rather, I think she saw something that led her to believe her father was conversing with the auracite. Moreover, I suspect it was the auracite itself that granted her this vision. You recall my hypothesis on distinct frequency in our NRR-type harmonic vibrations and their tendency to promote ethereal amplification? Or when I mentioned that despite being in the principal's possession for an extended period, the Otius exhibited none of the imprinting present in the Duma? No? The Otius has never resonated with Genomius. It has always been his wife's pendant and its auracite shard, the Virgo, that fueled his passion for ivalice. No, the Otius is bound to Alma's deepest desires, whatever those may be. The only reason I can fathom that Alma has not fallen victim to the auracite's grasp is that her desires are not as strong as those we've witnessed in Argath or Bagamnon. That and the ethereal interference caused by other nearby shards. I've explained all of this to Alma and recommended that she destroy the necklace, yet not only did she refuse, but she begged me to keep this revelation from her father. And so I did the only thing I could. I devised a means with which I might impede or at least lessen the effects of the Otius. This device, while still incomplete, will amplify the NRR wavelengths emitted by the Virgo. That should work to interfere with those emitted by the Otius, thereby shielding Alma from the brunt of their effect. That sounds like it is a recipe for causing a different problem, though. Let's make one of the other super powerful magical stones even more powerful to shield from this other one that we know is doing something already. And nothing bad will happen because of this. The city below is all abuzz with word of a Banga brigand loitering about the airship landing. Do you think it could be someone we know, Kupo? Is it the person who wanted to give me a message that no one has given me yet? It is Bragi, or Bwagi. So probably. Hey. Apologies, Sucro, but I needed to speak with you and you alone. Oh, don't mind me, Kupo. I'll just be floating over here in perfect earshot. What makes you think I won't lay you low right here, right now? Because we're here to offer you a proposition, that's what. We need information on the Golmore jungle, and thought a man as well-traveled as you might be persuaded to provide some. Golmore? You of all creatures should know that's Viera land. What are you offering, then? Why, the opportunity to tell us what you know. Genomius believes our next adventure lies beneath the jungle canopy, Kupo. I should have expected as much. Very well, Sucro. I came to ask if you would meet someone. It seems that someone may be able to assist Genomius as well. Seeing as you and the principal did right by us before, I do not see a reason why I cannot take both of you. Let me know when you're ready to depart for Rabanastre. We will travel in our airship. The Prima Vista would draw too much unwanted attention. Hello! Yes, there is a new form. This is the new form. Welcome. This is a design I came up with a little while ago and then just translated into a functional form like last night. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. This design is much more me than my last one was nowadays, I think. Hello. Welcome. So yeah, we got a new form. We got a new stream layout, if you haven't seen that yet. It's fairly recent. I just realized the closed captioning is covering up Sucro's HP, so she's effectively immortal, but that's fine. We've also, just to show the rest of the new stream layout, we've also got the BRB screen and stuff like this over here. And we've got some new friends around. Saren, the Octoling, who was in the little April Fool's stream. And then also the Loporit in charge of the Facts Corner, Knowingway, is a new friend as of today. So yeah, making stuff fancy over here. Anyway, the Prima Vista would draw too much unwanted attention. Using just the Final Fantasy Tactics soundtrack is often kind of funny. Like, this world map theme is just so cheerful. I mean, I guess it works for airship travel, but it's still kind of funny. Oh, and I've also got a variety of different tiled backgrounds excavated from ancient internet websites to use for the whole Windows 98 theming of everything. Today's background is a tiling cat. I bet you can figure out why that is. I also considered making it fire because of Stormblood. Back to a life of brigandry in the clouds, are we? What, like some sky pirates or something? Never heard of those. Of course not. Not that it didn't cross our minds, but when faced with the decision of what to do next, we simply needed to remember the dying words of our leader. Gijuk, Rinok, and I decided to re-enlist as Dalmascan Fusiliers. Fusilier? I don't know how to say that still. And the occupying Garleans actually said yes, Kupo? Not exactly. We're now with the Resistance. Why is that surprising? You no doubt heard of the uprising in Dalmasca that followed the Doman liberation, and how it was crushed under the iron heel of the 4th Legion. Nod. The Resistance leaders were captured, tortured, and publicly executed. Yet much to the Empire's chagrin, the gruesome display only served to further rally the survivors. Remove one head and 2 grow back in its place. Remove 2 and then there are 4. A person can die, but an ideal will live on. Now there exist several factions throughout Dalmasca. We belong to one known as Lent's Tears. Lente? I don't know. Lente's Tears? And when we told our commanding officer of our recent crossing with you and yours, she simply insisted that we introduce you. Understandable given what I've done for liberation from— Hello, Kupo. Me? But I wasn't even supposed to be here, Kupo. Montblanc, please. Not you, Hairball. Her— that face Sucro made at the Moogle just now was very silly. Meet with the General and hear her proposal, Sucro. If you're not interested, we shall return you to Kugane unharmed. You have our— Corel got your tongue? Rabanastre dead ahead, lads. I feel like when you swerve an airship like that, it would be difficult to, like, stay standing upright. Like, you could maybe expect Sucre to just, like, slowly slide off and then fall with a slide whistle noise. But maybe they're more sturdy than I give them credit for. Maybe standing is easier than I give it credit for. I don't know. This way. We've many moms to cover before nightfall. Could we have landed closer, or is that not allowed? Well, I guess it's fine. Oh, we're meeting in the second raid dungeon? Hey, look, it's Viera. It's Viera Final Fantasy XII. I've done as asked. I bring you the Liberator. And here I thought she'd be taller. Someone else already said that in this questline. Mikoto did, in fact. Anyway, hello, Fran from Final Fantasy XII. I knew it, Viera! I am Fran, proud daughter of Dalmasca and general of Linte's Tears. And yes, Moogle, I am a Viera. Are you surprised? I'm assuming they would still be surprised if you were a Viera in this questline, because they probably didn't retroactively change any of the dialogue. Why yes, in fact I am. Her kind are all supposed to be living amongst the trees, having shunned contact with the outer world, Kupo. Mont Blanc, we just learned that there were some who didn't do that. We just heard about that on the Prima Vista. Yeah, that's also probably true. There are supposedly a few who've left their homes, but I most certainly did not expect to see one here in this sewer. I mean, okay, you did reference the thing we heard, but also you just said you didn't expect something when you also said you knew something. Never mind. I'm nitpicking too much at this point. Indeed. Bwaggy's face poking in from the side of the screen here is also kind of funny. Like, hey. Hey, what's up? This Banga claims you seek Orban. Does he speak true? Nod. Those ruins lie deep within the Golmore jungle, a place most sacred to my sisters. They would take great offense were you to defile it with your presence. What is more, Bwaggy tells me you travel with Garleans, openly aiding those who would see our nation burn. How can we place our trust in one who would do such? Fran, not all Garleans are the same. Genomius and his family defected long ago. They're not your enemy. A Garlean is a Garlean. No. Their pathetic attempt at absolution only proves their past guilt. Why is everyone racist in this questline? Can we stop that? You must understand, kind Genomius does not approve of the Emperor's warmongering. He wants to help Dalmasca and its impoverished masses, Kupo. And what would a Moogle know about my people? Does your blood run Dalmascan red? We could cut you open and find out. General, there's no need for threats. Is Fran like this in 12? Is she so violent? You are right, Bwaggy. Let us then parley. I don't know if this is supposed to be literally the same Fran from 12. But probably. Parley? Yeah, it's a crappy minigame you can play at the inn. In the inn room. Parley. First, their resistance requires men and women from Doma and the Eorzean Alliance to join us in ridding Dalmasca of its imperial invaders. Your past deeds have made you well known to the leaders of both. They will listen to you, or if not, they will listen to these scions to which you claim allegiance. Second, the resistance requires gold to strengthen our forces from within. Your allies are in bed with the East Aldenard Trading Company, which continues its dealings with Garlemald even as you raise your sword against them, profiting from the Empire's rampant aggression. As targets of that aggression, I believe my people are entitled to a portion of those profits. Grant me these simple things, and I shall personally guide you safely to the ruins of Orban. And what of the Lexan tales? See me to victory, and I'll take the Emperor himself. Those are my conditions. What say you? I will deliver your request to the Scions, but can promise no more. Or, promise me first my companions will see no harm. I think she would have to go well out of her way to see harm to anyone, so I'll go with the first one. Tell them my demands, but know the fate of your expedition hangs on how well you do so. You're a very shoot-the-messenger kind of person, aren't you, Fran? Nod. I'd say we have our work cut out for us, Kupo. Wagi, you and the Fusiliers are to accompany the Liberator. I expect a detailed report on how my demands are received. Yes, General. Nod. I didn't expect any of, like, the other main characters, like the Scions and whatnot, to be involved in this questline. Not that I expect them to be taken seriously. You are a fool to trust them, Princess. I don't know who the princess is. Nice of the princess to trust us with the demands of the Resistance, eh, Luigi? Anyway. General's not too bad once you're on her good side. Her only good side being her... Nope. Nope. You must perish. No being horny allowed. Stop it. I finally come to accept Begamnon is gone for good, but I will never forget how he met his end. I cannot allow my hatred to consume me as it did him. Do not be put off by Lady Fran. The General has quite the edge to her, but it's only because she wants what's best for the Resistance. What an adventure, Kupo. Just think, by tomorrow we could all be the newest members of the Dalmascan Resistance. Not that I'm ready to give up my place on the Prima Vista just yet. Time to look at a box. Hurry, hurry! If I don't tell someone of our adventure quick, I'll positively burst, Kupo. Where have you been? In Rabanastre with Mont Blanc? Why didn't you tell me? How am I supposed to report on something if I'm not there to see it? It's called a second-hand source. Or, I mean... Never mind. This woman asks much of us. Wait, are they Scions now? Why am I talking to you about this? The Vieira have ever been wary of outsiders. For centuries, their many tribes have remained hidden in the jungles, content with their self-imposed solitude. Each tribe has its own strict code and will meet swift punishment to any who would defy these laws. As such, many a Vieira will spend her entire life bound to the territory of her ancestors, both unwilling and unable to venture beyond its borders. And while the tribes are wholly independent, they've agreed to uphold a single standard: shun all contact with the outside world unless it is to protect their jungle. The jungle. That said, with every generation there are those Vieira who long for a life beyond the verdant sea of trees and abandon their tribes to start a new life in the kingdom's cities. My guess is that this Fran is one such individual, who also happens to be the only individual we know who can guide us to the monastery, Kupo. It seems Sucro's sword arm won't be enough to see us through this predicament. She'll need to don the right mantle of a diplomat if we're to convince the alliances in the East Aldernar Trading Company to grant us aid. What could go wrong? Gasp? Shrug. Phone call. Hey everybody, we need to do a war so I can get to a raid. Sorry. I mean, we were already doing a war. We need to, like... Yes, I know you said not to call unless it was urgent, but this is urgent. Alright, not exactly, but my superiors have come to a decision on your request, and I thought you might want to hear what they had to say. Oh, and let me preempt any request for immediate disclosure with a reminder that the information is much too sensitive to discuss over Link Pearl. Meet me at the Ruby Bazaar post-haste, and I shall duly apprise you of their judgment. Good thing Sucro has connections, I guess. Well then, Sucro, what are we waiting for? Nod. I've read about how you united the whole of Eorzea under a single standard and convinced the Holy See to end a 1,000-year conflict. Compared to that, asking for a few soldiers and a copper of three of Gil should be a piece of Rolandberry cake. I suppose we should inform Bwagi down at Kugane Landing of our progress. You mentioned he was to keep an eye on us. Executive decision to not talk to as many people anymore continues. Especially in light of what even semi-important people are now talking about. I've informed Bwagi of our situation. We're ready to make for the Ruby Bazaar when you are. So you have an answer from East Aldenard already. Impressive. It would seem that the Lady Fran has underestimated your influence amongst the realm's players. I assume you have no objection to me joining you then. Well, I don't. I wouldn't be surprised if the trading company did for some arbitrary reason. Because they're very rude a lot of the time. But yeah, I didn't expect this raid storyline to suddenly, like, involve a bunch of other characters from, like, the main story. Like, Cid was surprising enough. I kind of figured this was a more independent storyline. But it also makes sense to me that they would call upon everyone else. Whenever you're ready, Sucro. Hancock awaits us in the bazaar. Shall we, Sucro? I don't know if he's agreed to talk to all of us, but you know what? Sure. Hello. A lovely lady and a banga, and here I was expecting you would be alone, Sucro. Ah, but excuse my manners. I'm Hancock, representative of the East Aldenard Trading Company, assigned to oversee her assets here in Kugane. It's a pleasure to meet you. Polite bow. Oh. Yugiri and Tataru are also here. And I am Yugiri. We apologize for making you come all this way. Not that it's far from the landing to... Why, I didn't expect them to be here, but I guess that makes sense. Bwagi, was it? I serve Lord Hien, rightful ruler of Doma. I've come bearing my lord's reply to your entreaty. And I am Tataru Taro of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. I'm only here seeing as no one else could be bothered. Well, that and to bear a message from the leaders of the Eorzean Alliance. Why is Tataru so sassy today? Thank you both for coming. I'm Bwagi, formerly of the Dalmascan Royal Fusiliers. I now claim allegiance to Linte's Tears, a resistance group seeking to accomplish what you have in Doma and Alamigo. What tidings have you brought us? Allow me to begin then. While the East Aldenard Trading Company sympathizes with your plight, we're not in a position to grant you the funding you seek. Of course not. Gasp. Eye narrow. No response. As you are aware, the East Aldenard Trading Company prides itself in its neutrality, be it in matters political or personal. And what of our relationship with the Eorzean Alliance? Yes, what I meant to say was, here in Hingashi, the East Aldenard Trading Company prides itself in its neutrality, be it in matters political and, You must understand our position. Simply supplying coin to any one group would make it appear that we somehow favor that group over another. Seeing as we conduct business openly and fairly with everyone, doing such would be sending the wrong message and ultimately harm profits. Yes. Go stick your head in the fire that I hear in the background, please. And by selling to both sides, you maximize profits while good men and women perish. How convenient. Angry. We are a business, milady. We do what we must to survive. That does not mean, however, that we're blind to the needs of our customers or our allies, which is why we support the Eorzean Alliance and their noble efforts to safeguard their realm's freedom through a mutually beneficial arrangement. If it were my choice, I would provide your little resistance with all the funding it needs, but as my good friend Sucro knows all too well, it is not my choice. So we need to, like, throw Lolorito into the garbage, then. Anyway, what about you two? Well, now that Hancock's thoroughly lowered your spirits, you won't be as crestfallen when I inform you that the Eorzean Alliance will also be unable to provide any assistance. Nod. And let me guess, you did everything in your power to try and convince the leaders of each city-state only to watch as they politely declined our proposal, claiming an unfortunate lack of intelligence or resources. Wait, how did you... Lord Hien sends his greetings to you and yours, and under normal circumstances would welcome allies still suffering under the Imperial yoke. However, word has it that the latest attempt at reclaiming your kingdom ended in failure, resulting in the loss of countless lives, including many of the Resistance's leaders. You are not mistaken. Our army is not what it once was. Those remaining have been forced to take refuge deep beneath the streets of Rabanastre. The 4th Legion has already defeated you once. Lacking unity and leadership, the current resistance will not survive another tilt against the Empire's disciplined ranks. If Doma is to join hands with Dalmasca as an ally, you must first prove to us that you will stand as one. Doma, as a full-fledged ally, would serve far better to strengthening our cause than a few temporary soldiers. Yet even if we were to wrest Dalmasca from the Empire's grasp, without unity amongst your people, the resulting chaos could prove even more perilous to the kingdom. You understand much of our situation. And based on that understanding, you would refuse your aid to Linte's tears, am I correct? Do not mistake me. Lord Hien's refusal is but a message to help you plan your next step. You have a wise master. He understands that without proper planning, driving one enemy from your midst simply creates room for the next. Lady Fran will no doubt be pleased to hear that your response was exactly what she expected. Wait, what? You knew this whole time that your demands would be rejected, yet still you let this farce play out? Well, of course, we didn't have an editor. We couldn't have cut the farce. You have my apologies, but this was all necessary to prove an important point to our leader. I mean, I'm joking about the editing a lot, but still. Like, this whole section does feel like something you could cut down a lot for time if you wanted to. Tataro's ponytail vibrating intensely as she leaves. Lady Fran needed to show the princess just exactly what she was getting herself into, and your honesty today will serve us better than any hollow promise. Thank you. I mean, like, I kinda get it, I guess. Wait, what about the Golmore jungle? Sucro's just like, can you believe this? We're right back to where we started. Principal Genomis will not be pleased. Nod. Dang it. I've already forgotten how you even... Oh, there it is. I didn't notice. I was going to say I'd already forgotten how you actually get to the airship. That is true, but I feel like that's like a subtle reinforcement of Hancock's character. Bowing when people's backs are turned seems like a very him kind of thing to do. Whatever it means. Anyway. And so nothing happened. If it is as you say, it is most unfortunate. But I suppose we did everything in our power, and that's all one could ask. I still do not understand. Why would Lady Fran send Sucro on this wild Paisa chase if she knew from the start it would be for naught? Paisa's confirmed equivalent to geese. I don't know how I feel about this information. Wagi mentioned something about Fran proving a point to their leader, whomever that may be. Yep, that is part of it. People in positions of power can prove both naive and stubborn creatures. Simply telling a leader she's wrong may not convince her of the fact. Seeing one's own plan fail, however, is often the best medicine. Naive and stubborn, then the resistance is doomed. If a person as imposing as Fran is taking orders from her, then chances are this leader is even worse, Kupo. I would not be so certain, Mont Blanc. My guess is that the individual in question is still quite young and inexperienced, and that Lady Fran is trying to teach her to be an effective leader through example. By allowing her to make her own mistakes, Fran is granting her the ability to learn and grow from them. An experience that will ultimately benefit her when time comes to make some truly difficult decisions. Now, I seem to recall reading that one of the many faces of the resistance before the recent quelling was a young girl of royal blood. Do you suppose... You may cease with your baseless presumptions, defector. Oh, hi. You found the airship. The door was open. Hey, I love showing up in an airship and saying the door was open, as if you just like walked through the air to get here. I mean, I don't know, I guess we're not in the air currently, but still. And you would be? I would be here on orders from the leader of Linte's Tears, against my better judgment, mind you. Greetings, Lady Fran, I presume? I am Genomius Sin Lexentale, principal of the Majestic Theater Company. You and your colleagues are most welcome on the Prima Vista. What is it your leader would have of us? While you failed in meeting even a single of our demands, she recognizes that you were sincere in your attempts to see them fulfilled, and for that effort you are to be compensated. That is most generous. The ruins which you seek are hidden behind a waterfall here. Of course they are. It's always behind the waterfall, a point roughly equidistant from the river's source and its delta. You have our thanks, Lady Fran. We will not forget this kindness. Father, I shall plot a course immediately. Wait, isn't there like a lot of complicated stuff involved in getting there? We can't just know where it is. We've established that the Viera are not gonna like us being there, right? Hello? Ramza, what is going on here? Alma, you should be in bed. I have slept enough, brother. Tell me, who are our guests? And so things were explained. It appears you once again prepare a leap into danger's maw. Keep your wits about you, Sucro. Lady Fran is strong, but then again, so is Bagamnan. I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly. Gasp. Ah, if you'll excuse me. Are you mad? A trip to the surface in your condition? Listen to me, brother. The High Seraph beckons. She speaks to me through the Otius. That's even more reason to not let you go there, right? The what? There's no need to worry. Mikoto and I have already devised a plan. I can help clear our family name and face full-life consequences. The Charlian has no say in this. I am your father, and I insist you remain here on the airship. What would your mother say if I allowed aught to befall you? Mother? That's what this is all about, isn't it? What it's always been about. You care not about ivalice or the Oran name. You only seek to use the Auracite to bring Mother back. But you haven't been able to do that. You still do not understand how exactly it is that the shards translate one's desires into reality. That is where I can help. I can ask the High Seraph. It's she who created the Auracite. Ultima has bid me come to her place of imprisonment. If we free her, she will reveal unto us the secrets of her creations. I don't think freeing someone named Ultima the High Seraph, who was known to be the final boss fight of a video game, is a good idea. Do you hear what you're saying, Alma? Even if there was the slightest chance of bringing Mother back, we cannot risk your life in doing so. Your brother is right. We've sacrificed too much already. I cannot bear the thought of losing you, either of you. It is too late! Oh. Well, okay then. I'm so lonely, Father. Why must you love Ramza more than you do me? Do not be cozened by your daughter's words, for they're not her own. Point. I don't think that worked. I don't think that worked in the way you wanted it to. Help me, Ra. There was a symbol crash? That's probably because there was a symbol crash in the Final Fantasy Tactics song that is playing right now, if I had to guess. Which I would guess is probably Ultima the High Seraph or something like that. Some related one. No, no! I don't know the Tactics soundtrack well enough. Gods forfend. I told you, no one can control the power within those shards. No one. Oh, did it? I didn't even realize that. Sucro, here, take this. It might be the only thing that can save Alma. But we must hurry to the monastery. Nod. Got one magic item. Come, we leave for the Golmore jungle now. But yeah, I'm assuming that cymbal noise was from the song. I cannot believe what I just witnessed. I won't believe it. I won't. There, it didn't happen. I have good news and bad news, Sucro. The bad news is that it appears the High Seraph was able to employ the Otius as a catalyst to propel her magics beyond whatever seal she's trapped behind. The good news is, this means my device should function as intended. Its design is based on one of Moonbreeda's. It repurposes the logic behind her etheric siphon into a means of disrupting ether flow by reversing common wavelengths and... And let us say it's already been calibrated to match the energy emitted by the Otius. As long as Ultima continues to wield the Otius, we should be able to interfere. But it only works if we can find Alma, which is why we must make haste. What do we do? What do we do? We cannot just leave poor Alma to become one of those monsters, Kupo. I've been such a fool, and now I've lost my daughter. Will you ever forgive me, Tia? I think we saw enough to prove that Ultima is no angel, Kupo, but if she's not, then what is she? Hey, angels can be evil. I told her this was a mistake, and now look what's happened. If you were wise, you'd toss all the remaining shards into Hell's lid and cut your losses. But you've no more wisdom than Bagamnad, and that's why the High Seraph has already won. Was the power I sensed beyond the rift, was that the High Seraph? What do you have to say about this writer, Final Fantasy Tactics? If what we just witnessed were truly teleportation magics, then the amount of ether required to create a portal that large, from such a distance, would surely be immense. Thanks for your contribution. Have I your permission to depart, Sucro? Every moment we tarry here, my sister, she... Of course. Then hold on, I've set engines to full speed. Remotely from this room. Full speed is not terribly impressive, but I guess that is pretty fast, actually. It just doesn't look like it because of the relative size of the airship. Anyway, here's jungle. I guess we're ignoring the part where the Viera don't want us to be here now. I mean, we do have a guide, but still. Is Cloud Strife... I know Cloud Strife is in Final Fantasy Tactics, but I didn't really consider that Cloud Strife was, like, considered canon to Final Fantasy Tactics. Despite being, like, an unlockable character and all that. Why is he there? Is there, like, a canon reason for him being there? I thought he was just sort of a bonus without explanation or something like that. Again, I don't know Tactics too well. But you do raise an interesting point. So 12 is canon to 14. Tactics is canon to 14. If Cloud is canon, then 7 is canon to 14, I guess. Are there any other bonus characters in the Tactics and ivalice games that would make anything else weird canon? Oh, you pull him out of a dimension portal? Fair enough. So if they're dimension portals, you could reasonably assume that every Final Fantasy is canon to 14. And Final Fantasy IV The After Years, famously not a very great video game. Well, I don't know if that's famous. That's just like the opinions I've seen about it and like what I've decided about what I've seen about it. The After Years did already attempt to connect all of the Final Fantasies through dimensional shenanigans. So I guess 14 is just reinforcing that idea. Hooray? It does kind of work. Welcome to the land of my people. It would be a poor lie if I said I did not miss it some. It's jungle. It looks nice. It's forest. It looks more like forest than jungle. I actually don't know the difference between that too well. Alma! Oh, hey. Just floating. Ramza, help me! Ramza, don't jump through the portal. Ramza, don't jump through the... Ramza, don't... Alma! Oh, I guess maybe that's good. Is this good? Is it working? Throw! Be gone! Imagine if Ramza didn't catch that. Okay, just the tiny little crystal cracking sound is kind of funny. Alma, Ramza! Okay, now we can actually, like, throw everything into Hell's Lid and leave, right? Just... Oh. I guess not. Blood of the invokers, fulfill the ancient covenant and grant unto me the vessel promised. What if no? Oh. Whoop. he just got yoinked. What just... That looked way funnier than it was supposed to. I think. A yoink is the opposite of a yeet, I think. A yeet is when you throw something, and a yoink is when you are thrown in the manner of being yeeted. Or like pulled. Or maybe it's the opposite in the sense of throwing or being pulled. But I think a yoink and a yeet are opposites of each other for sure. Wagi, to me, the girl is not well. Might I suggest we continue this back at the Prima Vista, Kupo? Nod. Nod quickly. Everyone's running. Oh. Have you the courage to face true evil? Who's telling me this? Probably Ramza of past. Well. I tried to press the Steam screenshot button. I think this is a kind of a good picture of just Sucro being like, what the hell is happening? What are you gawping at? The ship is this way, Kupo. Yeah, exactly. Anyway. I will not see the same fate that befell Begamnan befall young Ramza. We must do something and quick. The device should have worked. Is Ramza gone because of an error in my calculations? If a magic rift was necessary to seize Ramza, then it's quite possible that Ultima is still incapable of traveling beyond the bounds of the Orban Monastery. However, if Arasite is all the High Seraph requires to do so, then we are in grave danger. First Alma and now Ramza? What does this Ultima want? Probably power and freedom and conquering the world. Poor Ramza whisked away from under our very whiskers. What poor companions we make, Kupo. A poor companion would be one who sat around and whimpered while others worked to find a solution to their troubles, Kupo. We must act for Ramza, for Dalmasca. What do you have to say, author of Final Fantasy Tactics, wandering dramaturge? Yes, it would appear that Ultima has abandoned Alma only to take possession of her poor brother. But riddle me this, Sucro. What type of being would require a mortal vessel? Correct, one without a corporeal form of its own. So the true question is then, now that the High Seraph has one in Ramza, what exactly will she become? Probably the last boss in the Raid series. Just guessing. No, Ramza is gone? Oh, dearest Tia, what have I done? What have I done? I think we're finally close to the raid. Genomius is crestfallen at the thought that he might never see his son again. We need to do something, but what recourse is left to us? The only means we had of protecting ourselves could not even prevent my own son from... My son from... Well, we go to the monastery and I hit stuff with a sword until everything works better. For us. That's what we usually end up doing. I'm sorry, Genomius. My design was flawed. Not necessarily, Charlian. We all saw how it succeeded in drawing Alma back from the rift and shattering the Otius. The loss of the boy is not yours to bear. Our focus here should be not on our failures, but what we've learned from them. The being beyond the rift, it spoke before claiming Ramza. It referred to you as the blood of its invokers. Could it be your ancestors are responsible for Ultima's summoning? Most certainly not. I've discovered no such inference anywhere in the Durai papers. Besides, tales of the High Seraph existed far before even the earliest of Evolution legends. And who exactly did summon Ultima, and why does she think them your kin? Look! Gasp. I have a bad feeling about this, Kupo. Eye narrow. Alma, your phone is ringing. Oh, time for the echo, I guess. The echo doesn't show up too often in side quest chains either, does it? Have we seen the echo already in ivalice? I don't know for sure. Ramza dead! You lie about as well as you carry yourself in battle, Oran. I did not say he was dead, my lord Delita, merely that he'd abandoned his mortal vessel, entrusting his ethereal soul to the Arasite. It is an exposition echo. But, like, I don't think this happens very often in, like, side content, does it? But why would he do such a thing? Peace has finally come to ivalice. There's naught to be had from further sacrifice. The kingdom is won, and this victory is as much his as it is mine. He risked life and limb to shield me from the dark that would have seen me perish. I don't know tactics super well, but I think I remember hearing about the ending being very ambiguous and possibly confusing. And while some of that is probably attributed to the original localization not helping things be clear in some instances, I guess it probably also could have something to do with Ramza yeeted his soul into the ether for later, or whatever. Yeah, the exposition echo, I'm not saying it's unnecessary or anything, by no means. It just surprises me to see it here, because I didn't expect it. Just use Galaxy Stop, Oran. Without him, I would not be standing here before you. It's my duty as both king and colleague to see him saved. Knights, to me, we ride for Orban. My lord, wait! Yeah, doesn't Delita get stabbed and kill? Ajora Glabados, first of the Zodiac Braves, was not the hero the church would have you believe. He betrayed Mother Hydaelyn for the promise of coin and power, summoning forth a terrible evil from the depths of the celestial abyss. I guess Delita's not being stabbed yet. It was believed only one of the land's chosen, only a warrior of light, might stand against this threat. Did they ever say the words warrior of light in tactics? I don't think they did. Yet while victorious in battle, Ramza was unable to see the darkness vanquished. If failure was all that awaited our warrior of light, then what chance do you presume any other might stand? Maybe they did? Maybe this is retroactive? I don't know. Are you saying I should do nothing then? No, my lord, Ramza is. My brother's final wish before he surrendered to the ether was that his name be struck from the annals of history. Wait, Ramza wanted that? I thought it was all the nobility being like, this guy sucks, let's cut him from history. 'Cause he's not cool like us, the nobility. I mean, he was nobility, but I think they mostly abandoned him. I guess there's a lot about tactics I don't know, or stuff is being retconned, or stuff is being added. I don't know. Alma, you're unhurt, but I was led to believe none but Oran returned from Orban. What is this you speak of your brother's wishes? When it became apparent that we were powerless to truly defeat the High Seraph, we chose the only path left to us, to do what Hydaelyn herself did countless centuries past, imprison Ultima. Okay, they definitely never mentioned Hydaelyn in Final Fantasy Tactics. So, some of this is new to Tactics canon, at least. And as you are aware, my lord, a prison is only as strong as the seal on its gates. Ramza sacrificed his body to ensure that the Angel of Blood would never again walk the land, and he believed that if people knew of this sacrifice, it would only inspire them to seek out the Holy Stones and repeat the mistakes of those come before. Also, it's very funny that, like, the Prima Vista crew has been trying to find the true history of ivalice for a while. Like, whether or not that was their true motive, that was something they were doing. And then, like, Sucro just looks at the funny stone and is like, oh, I know it now. Cool, sick, rad. I love to know history. Is this a reliable source if Sucro's just like, I had a headache and then I learned all of the history to people who don't know anything about the Echo? Can you cite this? How do you cite the Echo in MLA format? Or like whatever the format of citation is in Eorzea. Or rather in Kugane, I guess. In the realm of Hydaelyn. How do you cite things? I'm very distracted. If you truly avouch yourself his friend, then you will honor this, his final plea. Witnesses who also have the Echo, huh? Or Sucro could simply write a paper about it, and then that would be cited. No, Ramza should not be forgotten. He should be raised up as a hero for his deeds and claim his rightful place at my side. That was a weird read of that. And claim his rightful place at my side. I feel like this is not how what Delita believed either, but also I don't know tactics well enough to actually know. Only he might be my knight gallant. He is gone, my lord. Simply cast Galaxy Stop on Ultima. Before Ramza was your friend, before he was my brother, he was a warrior of light. He did what he did for Hydaelyn, and for those who would one day too heed the crystal's call. Is that good? Oh, hi. Hi, Ramza. Claim the throne, my friend. Become ruler of ivalice and restore peace to this war-torn realm once and for all. I wish I'd found better pants before I died and erased myself from history. But this is what my specter will wear for the rest of eternity. Farewell. But you... Wait, Ramza, don't leave me, please, I beg of you. You will make a fine and just king, Delita. See that you do not stray from that path. Sorry that you're gonna get stabbed. Unless that's not canon anymore. Ramza! Also, it's kind of funny that Aran Durai is so important, because I don't remember him showing up very much in Tactics after, like, a little bit. But also, like, the Durai papers were a thing, I think, so I don't really know. There's a lot about Tactics lore I don't know about, is what I'm learning. As I'm saying. Of course, this could also be a separate instance and not actually Tactics, but like just a parallel Tactics? I don't know. The stones in these two necklaces, you're certain they will guide the heroes of a new era to Ramza? 'Tis what Ramza wished, my lord. Aran, I do not believe I can bear another farewell this day. Will you not reconsider my offer to remain as a member of my court? Hey, wasn't Aran, like, he was, like, persecuted by the church and killed, right? I guess that's also after this. 'Tis but a matter of time before the Cardinal and his temple knights grow wise to my past. Oh, well, there we go. I would not have my presence here implicate you as well. You could just use celestial stasis on them, though. Here's a book, though. Ramza beseeched me strike his name from history, but like you, my lord, I could not bear the thought of future generations blind to the truth. As such, I penned this chronicle of the hero's journey. Hero's journeys. That probably would have taken you a while to write, too. When did you do that? I fear the world, however, is not yet ready for the gospel contained within these pages, nor would the church ever allow its circulation. In fact, I believe they will confiscate every existing copy and lock them away in their library. How many copies did you make? And what better way for the words to remain forever preserved than one of the most highly guarded vaults in all the realm? Then one day, when the church has fallen out of favor, the chronicle will be discovered and truth shall prevail. I must admit your plan is intriguing, Aran. But once the church learns it was you who penned the chronicle, your life... You could have used a pseudonym, or did you? Wait. What? Oh. I guess that was meant to imply pregnancy? I don't know how old any of these characters are. Anyway, hey. Sucro! 'Twas the Echo, wasn't it? I just learned the entire history that you were trying to find for like 5,000 years or whatever. The removal of Ramza's name from the history books, the Durai papers, the pendants, it was all set in motion by Oran himself. And if the Liberator's visions are to be taken as fact, it also appears we now know what the High Seraph meant by blood of my invoker. She was not speaking of ancestors in the sense of actual kin, but in the line of those chosen by Hydaelyn herself to serve as her warriors of light. But then why abduct Ramza or even Alma, unless there's something you haven't been telling us? She was using us to lure Sucro. It is her vessel the High Seraph desires. Matron's teats, Alma, how long have you been awake? I've been a fool. I told our leader that it did not matter if our request for aid was refused, for I had an alternative ploy. General. It's all right, Wagi. My intention was to claim one of these Arasite in the name of the Resistance and use its power to lay waste to the Garlean occupants. Only now do I realize how flawed my ambitions were. Yeah, that would have been terrible, actually. You mean this whole time you were playing us for fools? Why didn't we see it earlier? Never trust a woman with ears longer than mine, I always say. Stop the racism, everyone. Also, that saying would not apply very often. You've probably literally never said that. You have every right to be angry, and I apologize for misleading you. But believe me, I no longer have any desire to deceive you and yours. I shall see you to the Orban Monastery and ask not in return, but that you let me join you in your rescue of Ramza. Gasp. Do not misunderstand me. I do not do this for any one of you. I do it for my people in both Golmoria and Rabanastre, people who may die if this High Seraph is allowed to return to power. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure, why not? Anyone who's reasonable enough to be like, you know, actually using the magical stone seems to have consequences, so I'm going to abandon my elaborate plans of power because I actually don't want bad things to happen. That speaks to the reason of the person saying it. So I feel like that actually makes you trustworthy. Like a little more, even though you were lying to us. It pains me as a father that I'm powerless to save my own son, Sucro. Sucro, I have asked much of you in these past moons, but naught is more important than what I ask you now. Please find Ramza. It was never my intention to deceive you. Alright, it was not until it was. But you must understand that I was only thinking of my people. I've not once held you as an enemy, only as an obstacle. And now that I know that to be false, I hope we can work together to save the land from the terrible evil that draws ever nearer. A better way of saying what I was trying to say is that, like, someone who understands that they have had misconceptions and, like, adjusts their point of view accordingly is someone that has at least some good qualities and can be trusted in some ways. Not to make any, like, super broad statements or anything, but, like, the ability to recognize that you were wrong about stuff is important. I will not see the same fate that befell Begamnon befall young Ramza. You said that already. This is all my fault. I was convinced it was Ramza and my father who were bedeviled by the Auracite, when in fact it was me all along. You are wrong, Alma. The Auracite held no power over you. It never did. Your concern for your family was justified, for they allowed their desires to cloud their own judgment. You needn't blame yourself for matters beyond your control. But what of Ramza? He's gone because he tried to save me. Please, Sucro, you must bring back my brother. I don't know what I would do if I lost him too. If your vision is true, then not even the Zodiac Braves, warriors of light themselves, could defeat the High Seraph. Are you certain we should not just allow Ramza's seal to endure? No, that would mean abandoning Ramza, but then what options are left to us? High Seraph? Ha, you've defeated tougher opponents on both Aldenard and Othard. Ultima will rue the day she rose up against the one and only warrior of light. She will, won't she, Sucro? I don't know, probably. You're right, dear brother, we must do something. Might you have any suggestions, Kupo? We must do what we Moogles do best. Dance, dance, I say. Well. The stream, granted, some of the time the stream was live was like the pre-stream segment, but the stream has been live for almost 2 hours now, and it's all been like dialogue, and we're just now getting to the raid. So I think it made a lot of sense to save this for one stream, is something I will say. I believe Karma wanted in on the raid, so I'll go ahead and send an invite. There she is. And on that note, before we begin the raid, I will once again BRB. I will also tell her that in the video game, just in case.
www.
Okay, I'm back. Hello, sorry about that. Sorry, I always take a little while. When, having to step away, but I'm sure no one actually minds, so. Have I watched a guide for the raid? No, I have not. I took a little bit of notes on the boss fights, but I did not watch a guide. I am not the sort of person who wants to, I don't want, like, I know that sometimes it's probably a good idea, but I don't want to watch a guide for raids. I want to just be able to play the game. It's just a thing that I don't want to do, really. Let me find it. Orban Monastery. I know that there's some portion of the community that would kill me for saying that, but I think the majority of people playing this game are, like, fine with that sort of behavior. Like, they don't expect people to view a guide necessarily, but some people do, is my understanding. I guess figuring things out as I go is alright. But I mostly just I don't want to see the whole thing in advance. These papers are not real. Oh, it's the expected mode of play when things are first released, but I kind of assumed that the expected behavior afterwards was to follow what other people have written or made videos of or whatever. Also, like, it took us almost 2 hours to get to the raid part. I wonder how much more that time would have extended if I had read all of the lore orbs. Probably like at least another 10-15 minutes, right? I don't remember if I mentioned before, but when I looked up information about the writer of Final Fantasy Tactics in 12 and this raid series in Bosja, there was some part in the description of him that said he was known to, like, dislike other people providing feedback on his work or something like that. Maybe I can find that real quick. Maybe. Yeah. Let's see. His games usually feature story-driven adventures with tactical or strategical combat. He described the development culture at Quest as having been a kind dictatorship, while Square's was more democratic. That's sort of just this is everything under the game design header on his Wikipedia page. But the important part is, and is not personally fond of other team members having input on his narrative work. And when I joke so much about how this needed an editor, that sort of makes me think that he did not, in fact, have an editor. Editors are important. It is possible that you can put too many words in a story. That's my opinion, anyway. I don't know what to do while waiting for stuff. I found that, like, in terms of my writing, not that I've written anything super recently. Well, I guess Vote Adventure Monsters was happening for a little while. But then I had to, like, stop that because I couldn't continue it. Because I struggle a lot with continuing stuff that I start. But the point is, I think with my writing, just the format of making everything condensed into tweets gave me a lot of practice at condensing words. So that's an interesting way of practicing the fight against the too many words problem, is trying to condense things into a certain limit of characters. You don't have to even use the tweet format for this. I'm sure you could practice this in other ways. But that would be my personal advice for if you're trying to combat writing too many words, is to impose an arbitrary restriction on how many characters you're allowed to type. With a Twitter format for the Vote Adventure stories, I did occasionally have updates where I like put like 14 tweets at once or something like that. And that felt like notably, oops, that's too many. So even when I did like exceed a limit in some way or another, I still like kind of felt the sting of too many words. But sometimes there was just really important stuff to put. Oh, I can stand up here. I don't know if I realized that. I did it! Hooray! Sucro, jump through the ceiling and make the camera sad. I think I've seen jump quests that people have designed inside of their houses where you clip through the walls and go into the void. I also find that I'm a pretty decent editor. So that probably helps with my writing as well. Like, I'm pretty good at catching typos and like things that are phrased a little bit oddly and like reformatting them. At least I think so. Now, like, speaking out loud, that's different, and I might have trouble figuring out how to phrase words that I'm being spoken, but still, I do my best. I should write more stuff. I just know that I can't write on Twitter anymore. At least not do the Vote Adventure stuff that I was doing some, because the ability to vote on Twitter polls is being restricted to people who have Twitter Blue in 9 days or so, because LOL, Lamau, Raffle, etc. And other such reasons. But I guess that's what stuff like co-host and Tumblr are for. And then I wouldn't have the arbitrary, like, post character limit, so I might accidentally write way too much instead. Yep. I also don't know what I would write. It's difficult to begin writing, and it's often difficult to continue writing. And every time I begin a project but then don't finish it, I feel guilty about it. So there's like 3 or maybe 4 abandoned Vote Adventures at this point. There was like Option Journey and like Vote Adventure Moonlight and Vote Adventure Monsters and one other one that I started and then like immediately discontinued. And possibly another one that I'm not remembering. But people enjoyed them while they were happening and don't, like, hate me for having to stop them and seem to be understanding, so I guess I shouldn't feel too bad about it. What do you think, Mammoth001? I see. Yeah. That's a good way to summarize what I was trying to say, I think. Oh wait, yeah, I do have my gap closer. I was just For some reason, I was starting to think about how Paladin doesn't get their gap closer until level 74. I'm not going to have it in the raid, but I wonder if they're ever going to rebalance the levels at which you get stuff. I found a topic of people discussing that as a problem in the game online yesterday. And people were saying that, like, the summoner rework basically gets their core mechanics immediately and then, like, just upgrades them over time and adds a few things like the Bahamut and Phoenix phases later on. I didn't really think about how the reworked summoner does sort of give you the idea of the class way earlier than a lot of the other jobs do. Like, Paladin not getting a gap closer until 74 is a little bit absurd. When do I get AoEs? At least I get an AoE at level 6 now, and then the second part of it at level 40. Better than Dark Knight getting the second part of their AoE chain at level 72 at one point in the past. I think I've heard that the damage output is, like, about the same, or maybe better in some cases for Paladin, but I haven't looked into it too much. And, like, to be fair, Paladin has more ranged combat options than other tanks, so the gap closer being a little bit later does make sense from that perspective, I think. But it would be nice to have everything earlier. Like, I say they have more ranged combat options, but they don't get Holy Spirit until 64 anyway, so it's not like they get a lot of time with that. Paladin also is really good at supporting allies. Like, they seem to be a tank that is a little bit more focused on that. But yeah, like, they can do the Holy Spirit stuff for magic damage from a while ago. Oh, really? It's 3% lower than other tanks these days? I'm sure they'll have some more, like, balance adjustments for stuff to make their rework work better in, like, 6.4 or whatever, probably. That would be my guess, anyway. I would hope so, because, like, I feel like 3% is pretty noticeable. That said, I am probably going to stick with Paladin. Yeah, because I noticed they nerfed a lot of the potencies, probably, like, to better fit with the new idea of the Paladin rotation that they had. Huh? Oh, hey. Hello. Whoa, what staff is that? Blade's Mercy. Oh, you did Bozja? I might have to do Bozja because the Paladin sword looks rad. Oh. Rika is here too. Hugs for Rika. I guess that's fair. Like, if the Paladin stuff doesn't matter for casual content, then it shouldn't affect me too much. Because I'm not likely to do Savage raiding at the moment. God, this mount. Yeah, that's the Neza chariot that you can get from the Mog Station, I think. I think that's how you say that. It's a very silly, well, I say it's very silly, but it has, like, roots in mythology and stuff. It is a little silly in this game, though, because you are, like, standing very seriously on some wheels that are on fire. So, I mean, there's an inherent silly concept there. But it is based on stuff. I was actually thinking about this specific mount recently because I had the idea, I was realizing, thinking about Dungeons and Dragons character builds, I was realizing that you could set up a quote-unquote ranger, quote-unquote swarm keeper that was effectively like a magical combat baseball player. Because the description of the swarm for the ranger swarm keeper in Dungeons and Dragons says that you can imagine it as anything you want. And like the utility of the swarm is that it helps you with attacks, pushes enemies back or knocks them over, and helps you like move around and stuff. And also, more recently, Rangers had the addition of allowing them to pick a fighting style where they got to use some druid cantrips. This might not make a lot of sense to people who don't know about D&D stuff, but I'll keep going because I need something to talk about. One of the druid cantrips is called Shillelagh and allows you to like magically empower a club or a quarterstaff to use as like a wisdom-based, stronger than normal weapon. And rangers can focus on wisdom to focus on magic. So like if the club was a baseball bat and the ranger's swarm was a bunch of like magical baseballs, then you could just like imagine them as a baseball player. And the reason I was thinking about this chariot is because one of the swarm's features is to like carry you around and like make you hover and stuff. And that is how I was imagining it functioning, just standing on baseballs in the same way that you stand on those fiery wheels and just like floating around. That was a very long-winded story, but you know, sometimes you need that. Do I have anything silly I could be doing? I have a crab. I love the sound of the skittering crab. And just how fast it makes it seem like everything is going because the crab is so small. This is the true advantage of playing as a Lalafell, is that everything seems faster because you're smaller relative to the speed that you have. Not that I've played as a Lalafell in like a million years, but I assume that that is how it would feel. But then again, the bike also is literally faster in a lot of places. Probably not here, it's probably the same speed here. But like if you drive the funny car, it feels a little bit slower. It is funny how it takes up like the entire bridge though. I see. I also have one of those because I did unsynced Alexander Savage at some point. It's very strange sort of whatever this is. I think it sprouts wings if you fly, but you can't see that here. I'm going to guess that the ivalice raids have a rather long queue time, regardless of party composition, unless you have literally everyone you need, which is impossible since you can't form an alliance raid in advance, I think. So I don't know. Let's look at what people are selling on market. Maybe there's something funny I can buy with my money. I don't know what Abigail barding is. Oh, it's a maid chocobo. Sure. Oh, really? Why is that? There's much barding that could be purchased, including barding that I shouldn't know about. Rubicante, the Archfiend of Fire. Who's that? I know who that is. I guess that's true. The Night Pegasus whistle is still 13 million. I don't know why the zoo horn is so cheap. Is this just... I think this is just from Eureka, right? Well, there's also Eurekan petrol horn, which is expensive. Probably because it's from later in Eureka. This is fairly cheap. The funny flying bed is kind of expensive. Fancy throne, that's $1 billion. Oh, there's a whale. I could learn funny emotes, maybe. Rice ball. Eat apple. Wring hands. That seems useful. Oh, the painting ones. I forgot about those. Wait, you can just buy the WoW emote? I can just have this way early? I heard the whale before I saw it. I didn't realize I could just buy the WoW emote. That's vitally important to have. Also ring hands, which sounds possibly useful. Incredible. Oh, this is very like... This is the sort of hand-wringing that you do as the Happy Mask salesman. Oh. Oh. This is an extremely Happy Mask salesman posture, actually. Like, even kind of the animation of it. And like the facial expression. Is there one of these I can... I need to put WoW in the favorites. If you freeze frame it, it looks a little more concerning somehow. Especially if you're looking to the side. This is a very Hildebrand kind of expression, I think. Not quite as silly as it as side looking. Not quite as silly looking down as opposed to looking to the side. Looking up though. This is pretty good. Sucro discovering a cool bug is, I guess, what the looking down one was, yeah. Oh, there's a chameleon. Very well disguised over here, actually. It's a good chameleon. Oh yeah, there was the recent Easter event gives the frighten emote among other things, which is very silly looking. I also have a high five emote, which just sounds like I'm smacking people in the face, actually. That was very rude, I apologize. These are also because of the Easter event. Time to wait politely, I guess. I think it's been a while since I brought it up. But like, I've shown Sucro's apartment fairly recently-ish. But I think it might have been a little while before I very specifically mentioned that I like the light party cushions on the floor here that I put here. Since there's 2 DPS, a healer and a tank one. I just think that's cute. I think I did a good job with this apartment. That's my opinion. Time to wait politely. I was reading in that like message board, forum, Reddit thread, topic, whatever you call any of those things, about like the level, how late you get a lot of skills for a lot of classes. There were a lot of people saying that it just straight up felt bad to play jobs below a certain level, and there were even people saying specifically that that was the main reason they didn't queue for a lot of roulettes. Like, naturally, people saying stuff like that on the internet are probably usually like a vocal but small portion of the player base. But I do wonder how much impact that has on how much people are interested in playing Alliance Roulette. I'm guessing that there's probably not a lot of people clamoring to play the ivalice raids at this point in time. So it makes sense that it's taking a while. Okay, that's actually really funny timing. Like right as the alert, or right as I accidentally pressed the fear one, but right as Sucro Almost right as Sucro woke up with a start. Anyway, DPS fell asleep. The final DPS has fallen asleep after waiting for 3 weeks to play Orban Monastery. Don't stay awake for 3 weeks straight. Hey, it worked out. Okay, time to die. Camera be whooshin'. Hey, we've seen this particular region in a cutscene. The amount of Vieira in the party is kind of funny. Just for this specific context. There's a lot of people saying that they're new to this. Oh no. The ruins of the monastery lie ahead, but do not think the path will be easy. Congrats, Karma, we're the only people in the party with custom portraits. Harpies, my sisters would not allow this unless... By the way, the server's also got a significant upgrade recently. Monastic Ghost. So I've heard some reports that like stuff like double weaving and whatnot is a little bit easier for some. And I think I have noticed it seeming like a little bit easier to, or a little bit more reliable to do stuff like that. I'm going to assume that the other tanks have got the skeletons handled, because we do have 3 of us for some reason, and that's probably part of the reason. Impressive. Perhaps you are deserving of your accolades, but do you have an answer for this mist, or is it ether? This all feels familiar, like back in Ridorana. It looks like the other 2 tanks are Gunbreaker. Only the name of these ruins lives on... only the name of these ruins lives on with my people. We have no knowledge of their past, nor do we wish it. Trespass into the monastery is avoided except when necessary. I imagine this is what it's like to be swallowed by a marble, Kupo. I don't know what you're on about, Mont Blanc. Ahead, I see someone. No, something. There are traces of ethereal residue here, most likely from an aura site, Kupo.
My name is Mustadio Benazzi.
What?
From Carthage.
Mustadio, why are you auto-tuned? What? Excuse? Anyway, here's Mustadio. This is the one where the circle marker hole has to face the boss when the cast finishes, whatever that means. Why are you auto-tuned? Also, why are you a robot angel? Also, I need to remember to use my buff. Ah, you're pretty quick with those. So I can't be slow at all. Nothing I cannot fix. I don't know what this means. Oh. Okay. I now have a vague idea of what that means. Are these the circles I've heard about? No. There are different circles.
You shall promise. Promise won't save you from what comes next.
These are the circles. Cool cutscene. Okay.
Let this be your final
Oh.
testament.
Right, when the cast finishes, and you're over there. Oh. Oh.
And where might you be off to?
I think that guide could have explained it better than what it said. The phrasing was specifically position character such that circle marker hole faces the boss when the cast finishes. And I don't think it's entirely clear to me what that meant. But that's fine. Oh, the entire alliance is dead. Alliance B. Oh no.
I am a man of my word.
I'll just lay here for a bit. Oh.
I rarely meet. What's this? Like rats in a castle.
Oh. It was just
Victory is not so close as you think.
it was just very unclear from the wording that I read in advance, and also what was happening. Generally. What? Oh, I still got hit by that, huh? Alright. I don't have a gap closer, cause I'm level 70. I guess I can you can sort of plan this one pretty far in advance. Yeah. Oh, no.
You're making this too easy.
This fight has too much to think about for me.
I see you.
I don't know what that means. What is my darkest fear? Oh, that means that there's a funny circle following me around for a while. Oh, this again. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where? There you are.
Let this be your final testament.
That was... Oh, you still get hit. Just not as strongly. Okay. Oh, I see. You're supposed to dodge this one based on the name of the attack. You're supposed to watch the name of the cast bar for that one. Some knowledge acquired. Okay. I can't parse this very well. Is this safe? Maybe? No, it's not. That one is too difficult for me to like understand at a glance, and they don't give you enough time to move out of the way. You're supposed to analyze that one from like where the beams are going in the environment. But I didn't do a very good job of that.
You have proven yourself deserving.
I guess that time I would have dodged it.
Witness my journey camp at long last.
There he is. That was regular Mustadio for a second. Wait, no prize? Oh, there's the prizes. I missed whatever Fran said. When the Empire marched upon Rabanastre, many who lived in the desert fled east to the sanctuary of the jungle. Some who were not turned away by my sisters were said to have taken refuge here. This wine looks good enough to drink. Do you think we could? No, alright, Kupo. The other thing Fran said was something about how she hadn't been here in a while, or like how the last time she was here something. There, another Lucavi? It appears to be a knight, but how?
But have you the faith to fulfill his legacy?
Okay, they did pronounce Beowulf. Anyway, hello, Agrius. What do I have for you? Duty actions. Gold gives shield bearer. Silver gives sword bearer. Ah. There's too much to think about again. Are the ivalice raids probably like some of the most weirdly complicated ones, I wonder?
To the current of life we succumb. Its judgment swift and final. Its bite as cold as steel.
Is this good? I'm guessing I was supposed to use that there. I guess actually the raids that would have the most complicated mechanics are probably the binding coil, but that's because that was like their first go at making raids. And then this is probably like second, but maybe this is actually, I don't know. Many questions, much panicking.
The hearts of men are black with corruption and must needs be cleansed!
Okay. Raise your swords against the coming night. But what do you mean by that? Use duty actions, okay.
Seven shadows cast, seven fates foretold. With at the end of the broken path lie death, and death alone!
Yeah, okay, this makes sense. This part. Anyone else? I guess. Oh, I'll accidentally cast that normally.
I call out to the skies and tremble as the brilliance of 1,000 bolts blinds mine enemies and tears their flesh asunder!
I like how what she's yelling is like some sort of analog to all of the spell incantations and tactics, probably. Like, they're not one-to-one by any means, but I feel like they have the same energy as that. I feel like that's probably intentional. I just remembered I also have Passage of Arms, which does that sort of. I probably need to be using that more.
The dreams of men are fleeting, yet they must be embraced if they are to flourish.
I need to remember I
Having
have
the
Passage of
faith
Arms.
to do as much.
I don't know what to do about this. Are you a shielded enemy? Because I know that swords are good against shielded enemies. But also, like, you had swords rotating around you, which does not indicate a shielded enemy must be defeated with sword to me. But I guess that was the case because the swords are gone. Presumably somebody else dealt with it.
Oh, divine light, send us from our sins! Gaze deep into the light!
I used Passage of Arms once. Good job, me. I think you can technically, like, use that real quick and then move.
Let their words echo in your empty soul. Ruination is come!
Is this correct? I think I did that correctly. I think I blocked that for the person who was tethered. Oh god, not the Wheel of Time series. Have I rambled about the Wheel of Time series before on stream? I did make a joke in one of my vote adventures where there was something called the Wheel of Crime, I think. I like the idea of spell incantations getting more and more elaborate and ridiculous. But also I really don't like the Wheel of Time series of books. It's a series of books I could ramble about for a while, similar to the Inheritance Cycle, also known as Aragon.
On guard!
Oh. I don't know, is that... Oh. So this means we have to kill stuff in the arena, or we're... Yeah, okay. Oh, is it... I was kind of assuming it was... Hey, it seemed like the sword sure didn't freaking hit any of those. Oh, the swords for these. We were supposed to use, like, regular stuff for the other ones. I tried to use my invincibility button, but it didn't work fast enough. I should have used it a little bit earlier. But that was a like actively misleading mechanic, I think.
Champion.
Oh.
I leave you now to your quest. My Ophelia awaits.
Okay, bye. The music didn't stop either. Oh. Oh shit, it's the gloves, it's exactly the gloves I wanted, and no one can take them from me because I'm the only tank in the Alliance. Something here feels different from the monastery. Also, there's something about how there was a holy night and stuff. Can't even keep up with the text. Oh, the Necro Hall. Hey, this place looks not entirely dissimilar from the lowest floors of the Hall of Dead and also the Palace of the Dead. And also, there's a hand there. Also, we have this music playing. Can you not feel it? An evil lurks here, one far beyond our ken. This dude's just chilling. That armor. Just hanging out. I sure wish I had Holy Circle earlier as well. I think it's kind of funny how Paladin and Gunbreaker have the same problem of their resource spender AoE not existing at this level. I think that's kind of funny. Biblos? Not Biblos. What is it? It's not Biblos that does that. It's the book boss that's not Biblos. seemed to work out though. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the runs of this raid go similar. I'm glad I get the gloves I specifically wanted. That's cool. I feel like we could probably burst them down. Oh wait, do we all need to stay on these or just tag them? It seems to be fine anyway. Maybe we did tag all of them? Okay, just tag. Once when I was very young, I heard the elders speak of a dark city where the horrors that haunt our nightmares dwell. The Necrohole, they called it. The Necrohole of Milan. Milan? Now where have I heard that name before, Kupo? This guardian, he's not like the first two. We must tread with care, lest our journey meet with a premature end. Wait, what is Sid doing down here? Your coming was foretold, etc.
I am Count Sidolphus Orlando. Your journey ends here.
Hi. I'm guessing our alliance wants to go over here, because we're all going over here. Ever-living Bibliotaph is the boss name I was looking for. Let's see. Sword in ground close, sword sideways away. Swords over platforms, stay away from those. 3 players per circle.
With corruption and must needs be cleansed.
And when I have... Hey, didn't Agrius say exactly that? Why is everyone dying? Sorry, what?
I call out to the skies and tremble as the brilliance of 1,000 bolts blinds mine enemies.
Why am I dead?
Tears their flesh asunder.
I don't understand what happened.
7 fates foretold, yet at the end of the broken path lies death, and death alone.
Was there doom? Was there a doom mechanic somewhere?
Open your eyes to the darkness and drown in its loveless embrace. The gods will not be watching.
There was a heal check. Okay. But also, like...
Misfortune hangs heavy on a head once held high.
Oh.
Such is poor cover for when the heavens fall.
There's a helm crush. I think that needs to be passed to someone else.
Show me more.
My double weave didn't happen. Oh, I guess I wasn't paying attention to where your swords were, maybe?
Its judgment swift and final. Its bite as cold as steel.
The brilliance of 1,000 goats. That would be...
Live by the sword is to die by the sword. There is time enough for regret in the flames of hell.
I don't know what you're going on about, Thunder God Sid.
Honed is the blade that severs the villain's head. Endless.
My rotation is all over the place and messed up
from hell.
as well. Okay. Okay, what was I supposed to do there? I don't understand anything. Oh, there's a swordplay gauge now? I guess. I read a guide for this and took notes, but I have literally no idea what's happening. Most of the time. I mean, it's safe to assume that we need to destroy this before the swordplay gauge goes up all the way. That makes sense. What do you mean? Oh, my food buff is way elsewhere on the HUD, I forgot. You can barely even see where these are on the ground because of the color being like the same. I didn't mean to do that yet, I don't think. I guess so. Am I going to have to start watching videos in advance? Or is this a special case?
Why?
It's less clear than usual.
Holy blade, the very world lies in balance.
Okay.
And now the scales will tip.
Time to tip the scales. That was merely the beginning, Warrior of Light. Great. I'm not looking forward to the rest if that's only the beginning. I think that means move away, probably? Yeah.
A piteous display.
Wait. Yeah, that means move away. Okay. The notes I took are helpful occasionally.
Were you expecting a modicum of rust?
I'm gonna just go ahead and use invincibility here.
You will find my defenses quite impenetrable.
I think that's the buff I have to pass, or the debuff I have to pass to someone else.
Not so easily granted.
I have to like tag somebody. Oh wait, sword and ground means stay
They
close.
who dwell aloft have spoken. Let their words echo in your empty soul. Ruination is come.
I don't mean to sound like I'm complaining either, by the way. I'm just kind of panicking. Sorry if it just sounds like whining or something. Whining and... oh, there is Doom. How do... oh, the Doom is the heal check then, right? Is this just a, like...
strongest of shields cannot defend the weakest of
okay, yeah, it
wills.
is.
A moment's hesitation beckons a lifetime of pain.
Why am I... oh, there's a tether. What's the tether? Oh, why am I dead? I got killed by something that was just called attack. I'm confused and scared.
You will find my defenses quite impenetrable.
Oh, these are getting wide. Now everyone's bleeding. There's also this. I guess we need to stand on this probably. Many people are dead.
The screams of ruin rise above the storm's discord. Shudder not in her endless cold.
Okay. Hey, why is this thing so tanky?
Show me more. A piteous display. The clouds have parted, and the skies clear.
Well, that was...
It is time I bade you farewell.
okay, but is your treasure gonna spawn here as a prank joke? Or no? No, it's after, okay. That was very confusing. Hey, armor too. The ether grows thick. She whom we seek must lie beyond, I think is what that said. My notes for Ultima are basically don't stand under the aura sight, remember the other stuff. Remember the other
or perhaps
mechanics.
you are come in search of power. That which lies at your feet, that blessed bauble can grant you both. You need but will it so.
Yeah, alright. That sure is Ultima the High Seraph.
Take up your salvation and be gone. Mortal agency in matters divine shall not be suffered.
There's a lot of complicated shenanigans in this fight too, I think. That I expect to die to. Oh, I'm over here. Remember mechanics. Stand inside the barrier for something called Ultimate Illusion. Intercept ads that move. Don't forget the dice. There's a funny maze somewhere, I guess.
You shall
Oh, I guess we're ready.
day you raised your eyes to the heavens.
If I only look forward.
Kneel before me.
No. There's ice now. I've stolen aggro by using my ranged attack.
Your very soul shall not escape my wrath. Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon you.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's not a target.
Kneel before me.
That's just like a boss that we fought before. Oh. Oh dear.
Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night.
The
I
ice
summon
wall is fascinating. Okay. Oh yeah, this is the funny time mechanic. Stand on the slow one, then stand where the fast one was.
Denizens of the abyss.
You can stop saying that.
Blackest night, I summon you.
It's very funny that they have all of these elaborate incantations and then Ultima says the same things several times. Ah, right. The pillar. I wasted a Holy Spirit, I think.
Defiance.
Okay, now they're all here. Various people are dying? Or maybe respawning?
your steel.
Ultimate illusion. Stay inside the barrier. Okay. A lot of people are dead.
Simmer as the light of life before rising to the heavens in a cleansing conflagration of divine benevolence. Your sins, your souls are undone.
That's true. Healers are still alive.
Not intervene.
You just destroying the barrier, I guess. The barrier will not last. Oh. Gotta stab. Is it over? Hey, this is very cool visually. Someone else added another barrier on top of the barrier. Okay, this is very cool looking. Yeah. That's Ramza. That's Dunban over there. I mean, children of Heidelin, make it swift. You are her only hope.
Few can claim to have endured the might of my will.
Hey, Ultima, you look really kind of fucked up. This is probably exactly what Ultima looks like in Tactics.
From ink of blackest night, I summon.
Eastward March. I don't remember what that means. Oh. Funny prank.
Your very soul shall not escape my wrath. Kneel before me.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon. Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon you.
I barely know what's happening still, but it seems less deadly about it this time. The game seems less deadly about how I don't know what is happening, I mean.
Bend to my will.
Oh, here's the funny maze, I guess. Oh, that's not much of a maze.
Kneel before me.
All right, you have to step next to her to be able to attack. I don't know exactly what my plan was. Instead of stepping away, I'll use my move to shield everyone, I think.
I see it now, in you.
His blood in my vanquisher in times long past, but But not so soon shall I accept defeat, is what she didn't complete saying. I guess we won.
I am your mother.
No.
I am your maker. I am ivalice. Consign me unto darkness, and your light will be forever lost.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. Whatever, Ultima the High Seraph. I only sort of understood anything that happened in this dungeon. Joy. So many things are being rolled on and I can't roll on them yet. The Orban Monastery complete. It worked out overall pretty well. Okay, High Seraph card. I guess I'll roll on all of those. Ramza. Sure, why not? Under the Stars. I think that's this song. Maybe not, actually. This is the intro to the game song. I think. One of them. And now we wait. Oh, right, I didn't commend anybody. You're right. Other healer. Nobody in particular super stood out to me, so the other healer gets the commendation for keeping things running. Assisting in keeping things running. We wait. So overall, the ivalice raids gameplay-wise, I think were pretty cool. Although, in this one in particular, I basically didn't know what was happening for most of it. So there is that. I would prefer mechanics to be more clear. I don't think that's a controversial statement to make. Story-wise, I think they definitely could have used an editor. Whoa! Suddenly, everything happening at once. Did I get anything from that? I didn't get any of the cards. I got, like, one piece of equipment that I greeted on, I think. Alright, enough sweeping. Bows to everybody. One commendation, I'll take it, for barely understanding what was happening and, like, there being healers and stuff to also commend. Sure, I'll take one. Oh, you got the Ramza, nice. Speaking of Ramza. Also, I just realized there's no lights on in my room. Oops. Other than the lights of the monitors. Immersive gaming. He's awake, Kupo, but is it truly him? Ramza says something annoying immediately, confirming his identity. Or not. He's just nodding. I guess he got better. Thank you. Thank you all for coming to my aid. Sound of something magical happening. Oh, hey. It's the other Ramza. And you have my thanks, noble warrior of light. You've achieved what I could not. And you, bearer of my blood and the blood of House Durai, thank you for seeing my final wish fulfilled. Also, here's all of my cool friends. I think this scene would be very improved if one random generic unit also spawned in. Like, we've got Thunder God, Sid, Nagrius, and Mustadio, because the way Final Fantasy Tactics works is that all the generic units are worse than all of the cool named units that have their own special powers and, like, stuff. But I think there should just be, like, a generic random person also showing up here, and everyone just goes like, who's that? For the rest of time. Yeah, just like a calculator, or I don't know, like a mime or something. My sacrifice has finally been given meaning. Agrius nods in the background. Okay, they are generic units. I spoke too soon. This is a bunch of random people, including a chocobo and one of the constructs. Well, the construct isn't random. Now, my friends, let us retire to Mother Heidelin's bosom that we may finally rest. I can't believe I said there should just be generic units and then like a billion of them appear. That's really good. Thank you. Thank you, Orban Monastery cutscene. Sucro, it's your Final Fantasy tactic now. That's also really good. Okay, bye everyone. I wonder if the stance Ramza is standing around in is because of how uncomfortable the pants are. Because it looks like it's like a wide stance of vague discomfort or something. Farewell, you are the true heroes of this story. Okay, you said it's your Final Fantasy tactic now, and then Ramza basically said something that's about the same. So I think everything that we're just saying is actually happening anyway. Oh, hi, Delita. Delita, how I've missed you, old friend. You didn't erase my name from the histories like I asked, though. Come on, man. Forgive me, Ramza. You deserve better than what history gave you. I could have done more. I'm truly sorry. Nod. It's them. These countless centuries did I long for the day that we might meet once again, and now that time has finally come. Heidelin beckons us both. I thought he was gonna do a thumbs up. But no, it's the handshake. It's a handshake. That makes sense. That was like the same motion as the thumbs up emote that Sucro can do, almost, until the handshake part. Okay, bye everyone. Shedding a single tear. Smile. And now we're back here. How's everyone doing? Sucro, it's almost sad to see our quest come to an end, though we have given the land scholars much to consider. Charlian will have to open a school of evolution studies if are we to keep up. But they were there, Herdy, clear as day, the hero Ramza and good King Delita. Why would I lie about something like that, Kupo? My question is, why wouldn't you? Still, after what we've all been through in these past few days, I might be willing to give you the benefit of the doubt this time, Kupo. Is that conversation different if I start talking to... Yeah, no, it's not. Alright. Despite what Lady Fran says, I had no doubt that you would come through in the end. You expressed doubt specifically. It's been an honor, Sucro. I only wish Bagamnon were here with us to celebrate this day. I owe you an apology, Sucro. I was wrong to doubt you. Whether it be in a council room or on the field of battle, you've proven yourself more than worthy of the many praises the bards sing. I'm glad to have counted you an ally, for I would not wish you upon even my worst enemy. I don't know, it seems pretty practical to wish Sucro upon people's worst enemies. It seems to work out pretty well in the end. None of those people are worth talking to. What do you think? Words cannot describe how happy we all are to have Ramza back aboard the Prima Vista. Prima Vista. And it's literally my job to use words to describe things. I think you used way too many words. Does this have new informations? I don't think so, but I'm not gonna read it. You're alive! Oh, but of course you are. You'd think that after this many triumphs, one might grow tired of saving the world. Consider us all fortunate that you've not! Ha ha! Ha ha ha! You rescued my brother, and for that I shall ever be indebted to you. You will be in my heart always, Sucro. And here we are, Sucro. I cannot thank you enough for all you've done for my family. That's before you saved me from the High Seraph. I think I'm gonna take that screenshot I took earlier of Sucro looking bewildered and just edit the Final Fantasy Tactics logo to be in her line of eyesight, if possible, and make that the thumbnail. I'm so sorry, Ramza, Alma. I convinced myself my research was the most important thing in my life, all while you two were standing before me. Can you find it in your hearts to forgive your father? Shakes head. No. Okay, it's all right. We're still here, are we not? And we triumphed. We proved your theory true. Ivalice existed, Ramza existed, and Oran Durai was not a heretic but a hero. Now all that remains is to tell the world. No, my son, we needn't burden ourselves further. But father, we cannot allow our ancestors' name to remain... And we will not, yet simply not in the manner you think. I shall be adding a final act to the Zodiac Brave story, telling of how Ramza the Forgotten Hero and his chronicler Oran Durai smote the Angel of Blood and saved Ivalice from an age of darkness, before quietly embarking on a final journey that would take them far beyond the horizon. And of course, I shall not leave out those nameless heroes who fought alongside Ramza, without whom the young noble would surely have perished. Is that what you truly want, Father? For the story to end? It will only end on the stage, my dear, and live on in the hearts of the crowd. King Delita and Oran envisioned the Virgo as a beacon which they would lead future generations to the truth, or which would lead future generations to the truth about the founding of their kingdom. They were right, and just as the pendants guided us, now we shall guide the masses through our play. And now you see, my son. I would offer you my thanks again, Sucro, but thanks are not nearly enough to express my gratitude for all that you've given us. Perhaps after I complete the Zodiac Brave story, I shall pen a tale about the legendary Warrior of Light and her adventures across the 3 great continents. You'll have your work cut out for you, my friend. Sucro has enough battles under her belt to fill at least 3 tomes, if not 4. Is this a joke because this is the 3rd, like, expansion? Because because there would be Realm Reborn, and then Heaven's Word, and then Stormblood. I don't know if not 4. I guess that maybe all the side quests, or maybe the if not 4 is in reference to 1.0 that might have been relevant, or maybe I'm just like, would you stop doing that, Sid? And her tale is far from over, isn't it? Gasp. Everyone laughs. Sucro does the determined emote. Meanwhile, in the same place, but later, So not meanwhile at all. Oh, this is like the stage. We get to watch some stage performance happening. Wow, they found some uncomfortable, historically accurate pants. All right, this is our final dress rehearsal for the night. Make it count. Positions, everyone. Yes, Principal. Lights, music, there will be no more mistakes from you two, am I clear? Mother Crystal Clear, Kupo. Okay, that's kind of funny. I don't think they've ever used Mother Crystal Clear as an expression, but they should use it more, because that's kind of funny. Like, ever used it before, I mean. They're going to perform the final new act, or the new final act. They are going to perform. Begin. Whatever will we do? The church has branded us heretics. No home awaits us in ivalice. We shall embark on a journey together. A Final Fantasy Tactics. Together? Together, the crystal's call has been answered and evil vanquished from the land. We are now free to soar like the griffin. But not the one that summoned a primal. Free, but how? By casting off our noble names and forging a new path, one not bound by fate. And on that path we shall meet new friends, make a new family. And unto them we shall entrust the true tale of our deeds, that they may carry on our legacy for all eternity. Sword in hand, a warrior clutches stone to breast. In sword etched he his fading memories. In stone he tempered his skill. By sword attested, by stone revealed. Final Fantasy Tactic, the tale can now be told. I just keep wanting them to name drop Final Fantasy Tactics now. Because I think that would be very funny for some reason. Bravo, bravo, you were both wonderful. Everyone claps. Nod. I'm inclined to agree with the Lady Muraila's sentiments, but there's always room for improvement. Back to your positions, everyone, again from the top. Kupo. Again, I've had enough of this. I was promised a starring role, Kupo. It's in my contract. Moogle comedy. Oh, hush, brother, before Genomus has us back to polishing boot buckles again. Don't worry, Mont Blanc. They'll tell your tale in the sequel? Maybe? I mean... Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. The everyone laughs parts of cutscenes are always extra silly because there's no sound to go with it. Hooray! Meanwhile, in the clockwork city of Gaug... What? Oh, right. They were doing stuff over here. Seems like Imperial, Oh. They made sure all the constructs spawned in. That's Imperial Sky Armor. That's Imperial regular armor on a soldier. And also science people. Science is being conducted. Noah von Gabranth. What? They just actually have someone named Gabranth? Okay. Well. Sir, further research will be required to reach a positive conclusion, but preliminary tests show the technology utilized here bears striking similarities to our own. Excellent. Let the Eorzeans play with their baubles. True power lies within these very walls. It appears our ancestors were as cunning as they were ruthless, and they really liked gears. And who the heck are you? Is it supposed to be like Von FF12 because he's not wearing a shirt? A weapon powerful enough to carve a gateway to the land's very core. His radiance will be eager to test this Tartarus. Wouldn't you all agree? I'm assuming that this sort of stuff continues into Bosja, given that that is the same writer and connected to the same sort of plot threads a little bit. Apparently. I hope the new act was to your liking. It may still change, seeing as we have yet to finish our rehearsals, but I believe Father has another masterpiece on his hands. I've always admired my father, but never more than I do now. I finally have come to understand why it was so important for him to tell his tales that he did, even if those actions did see him driven from his home. Still, I worry that we may never find our place here in this foreign land, that our voices may never be heard. Everything we knew is gone, everything we worked for behind us. Will the people of Othard and Aldenard accept us for what we offer, in spite of who we were? Will they flock to our stage to hear our stories? Will they laugh at our jests and weep for our losses? I know it's childish to fret over such matters, but perhaps I'm still a child, desperate for the acceptance of strangers. Despite the fact that I'm already accepted by my friends and my family. Something happened that day I laid hands on my mother's necklace. My father would have me believe it was the hero Ramza's Arasite, the Virgo, that dispelled the fear and hate in my heart and replaced it with love. I would like to believe that it was not only the Holy Stone, but me growing up, journeying to a new land, meeting new people, learning of new cultures and customs. These things ignited a flame inside me, a flame of change. You, Mont Blanc, Herdy, Mikoto, Master Sid, Boagi, Fran, even Lena. You've all helped to fan that flame, that they may rise into a conflagration to burn away the old Ramza, leaving what stands here before you now. My father spoke of one day authoring a play that would chronicle your adventures. I believe I will tell him to abandon that endeavor, for I wish to author it myself. That is, if you will allow it. You are welcome here anytime, Sucro, and I hope that you will take time to visit and tell us more of your deeds. I shall be waiting. Is everyone gonna have, like, a soliloquy for me? Thanks are not nearly enough for all you've provided us, but sadly they're all I have to offer. Thank you, Sucro. You watched our rehearsal, and so you've witnessed firsthand the fruits of my father's labor. It's now on us, the players, to see their seeds cast across the realm. From fleeing the Empire to searching for a new audience, from finding the truth, to searching for a new audience, from finding the truth of our ancestors, to bringing back my mother, to saving my brother, many paths were walked on this journey, but ultimately they all led here. Was it merely the Arasite that guided us to Orban Monastery, or was it, dare I say, fate? Ah, thanks for stopping by and thanks for your help. The stream will probably be over pretty soon, honestly. But yeah. See you later. Our exile, our arrival in Hingashi, my father's disappearance, without even a single one of these things, our paths may not have crossed. If that is not fate, then it's chance, that's what it is. Now that Ramza's my food buff. Now that Ramza's desire has been fulfilled, the Arasite set in this necklace appears to have lost its blessing. Perhaps it's for the best, but I'm simply glad that a piece of my mother remains. I shall not say farewell, for I would not have this meeting be our last. Allow me instead to offer a prayer. Mother, abandon not your wayward children of Ivalice, but deliver us from our sins that we might know salvation. Pay respects, emote. I owe you an apology. Oh, you said that already. Oh wait, no, you had more to say actually. I was wrong to doubt you, whether it be in fact our paths may cross again sooner than expected. I received word earlier from both the Eorzean Alliance and Doma that they've agreed to assist Lente's tiers, though not in the manner my leader first sought. They will be providing refuge for those displaced by the fighting. Children, elderly, the wounded, I've been assured that all are welcome. Unlike our demand for soldiery, both Lady Totaro and Lady Yugiri seemed much more amicable to this request. Perhaps they remembered how only recently Eorzea received refugees fleeing from Doma and El Amigo, and perhaps it was I who reminded them. As for now, I must return to Dalmasca with these tidings, and somehow not only convince the myriad resistance factions to cease their infighting, but also cooperate in the organization of a method in which refugees might be transported safely across the borders. Needless to say, I have my work cut out for me, but even then, this is only the beginning. Once the refugees are safe, there's still a war to be fought and won. And when that time comes, do not be surprised when I come again calling. If Bagadnon were here, he'd smile and slap us both on the back. He'd probably fall on your face. I miss the captain. I'm not as optimistic as my brothers as to our chances of meeting again, but know this, Sucro. I will not forget you, and I hope that maybe you will say the same. Wow, that was actually short. It's been an honor to serve one as brave and just as you, Sucro. I only hope my contributions to this most recent endeavor have proven of value. Before this assignment, I would spend my days alone in the library, poring over texts, learning of others' accomplishments, but never recording any of my own. But witnessing you and all you achieved in our short time together has inspired me. When I return to Charlian, I will put in a request with the students of Baldessian for an increase in field research. But I think I shall start with something in Lower Lenosha. Thank you, Sucro. Bow. Yesterday, ivalice was a legend. Today it is history, and this is all thanks to your selfless efforts. No longer need I hide my heritage, for you have shown it to be noble. I only pray that this final act I've penned proves worthy of them and their deeds. Granted, it still requires much polishing. And yes, I'm fully aware that my conclusion to Ramza's tale differs from that which you saw in your vision, and learned in the halls of Muland, but that was rather the point. I wanted people to see Ramza in control of his own fate, ending his story on his own terms. Entrusting faith into future generations is noble, but it diminishes the accomplishments of Ramza and his companions, which is why I granted them the victory they deserved. History remembers those who prevailed, and thus will his name endure. Now, was there aught else you wish to ask of me? No. I don't need this extra lore, thanks. What about you two? Principal Genomus has agreed to give me an actual role in the play. It's not Mont Blanc who stands before you, Kupo, but Isilud Tingil, the most handsome and noble and handsome of the Knights Templar, who has all of 2 lines before he must return to his proper place backstage working the lights. Do not forget that, Kupo. Moogle comedy continues. Alright, and what do you have to say, Final Fantasy Tactics writer? I run, you give chase, I am the heart, and you the something, but this heart has slayed. Ah, Sucro, you've caught me again in the throes of a bloody bout with my arch nemesis writer's block. Perhaps a change of pace would serve me well. Was there aught you needed? I can learn about Viera stuff, apparently. Oh, this is where they just say Viera aged slower than everybody else. And most of them are girl. And also their gender takes a while to become apparent. Etc., 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 etc. Some of the VR lore is a bit odd, I think. That's everyone we're speaking to on the ship. Now we have to speak to Lena Muraila. Who is outside. You two have anything interesting to say? It won't be simple uniting the factions. Fourth Legion has marched on Valdane. Okay. At least they didn't say anything terrible. Well, wasn't that an adventure, Sucro? It's sad to think that we must so soon part ways. We must soon part ways with all we've been through these past few moons. Satisfied with the city's unwillingness to turn him over to the Garleans, Genomus has decided to purchase a permanent berth above Kugane for the Prima Vista. Supposedly, he's already received petitions from hundreds of Geico and Guinan to join the company. And then there's the matter of my assignment. You'll be delighted to learn that I'm almost finished. What? How do you expect one to write an exposé when off battling forces of evil from beyond the void? Don't you worry though, a few more weeks and I'll have a draft. I'll write an outline. Until then, I'll stay in Kugane a while longer, at the Raven's expense, of course. Farewell! And thus, we've finally completed Return to ivalice. And we will not be seeing any of, presumably, the continuation of it, which is Bozja on stream, probably, except for maybe, like, the start of it, actually? Because there is, like, a trial. But I'm not likely to do the grinding stuff in Bozja on camera. It took 3 hours, 33 minutes, and 33 seconds to get here of recording. Cool time. We went back to ivalice. That's true. And the Blesswitha stole a roof again, as she's wont to do. Thank you, Blesswitha. There is a lot of ivalice, yeah. I mean, well, it was a good idea to save the last third of it for one stream. Again, I will say, they could have used an editor. A lot of the dungeon mechanics were or the raid mechanics were kind of unclear and panic-inducing. But also, like, the story could have used an editor. And that's about the extent of what I can think of to say on it, actually. Except that I also get the impression that the Final Fantasy Tactics author really wanted to, like, put himself and his story into the game and, like, parade around how cool it was a little bit. I mean, a lot of people like Tactics, so I guess I can't fault him for that. Because a lot of people agree with him that his story was cool and good. I just think they could have used an editor in general. But yeah. And now that you mention it, yeah, doing the first 2 raids all in one stream, I think they were a little less wordy than the 3rd section. But, like, still, that was a pretty long stream. So, next on the Final Fantasy XIV agenda, meaning Friday if I'm feeling well, is I believe 4.2. Allow me to double check. Yes, Rise of a New Sun, patch 4.2. And then after that, the Four Lords, the series of trials. At some point, Rathalos, and like Heaven on High and stuff. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope everyone likes like this new stream layout that we've got going on and like my new fancy little avatar over here. Which is more me than ever before. And oh yeah, I forgot it was that long actually, but I'll take your word for it for sure. We'll get there. We'll see when we get there. I need to remember that streams don't need to be super long. But all that aside, thank you all for watching. Hope everyone's enjoying watching streams and also all of the new aesthetic stuff and whatnot. Oh yeah, I remember liking the storyline as well. And yeah. Friday, hopefully, will be the next part of the stream. I guess I could put the Sucro Facts Corner on the thank you for watching stream screen as well. I'm just sort of talking out loud. Heck yeah, Rainbow Message. But yeah. Next planned stream Friday, 4.2. Good night, everyone. Oh, right, I'm supposed to, like, advertise myself. You can go to here, which you can't see on the screen because I made it so that only shows up in the chat. But like borealrobin.card.co is where you can find all the links. If you would like to support me, the most helpful thing that can be done is following me if you're not following me already, and recommending me to other people who might be interested. And yeah, good night. I think that's about everything. I need to have a better, like, signing off paragraph or whatever. Good night.